accuracy and the way he used to pounce upon the mistakes of defenders. But at Man United, he was way more pussycat than tiger, to be honest. All he managed in 29 Man United games was 4 goals. Moving on, things couldn't have gone much worse for Jadon Sancho at Man United. Yeah, it would have been hard to outdo his Borussia Dortmund form, but 12 goals in 83 games is not great. Things got worse after a public fallout with manager Erik ten Hag. Sancho said he was being made a scapegoat. Ten Hag said there'd been a discipline issue. It all ended up with Sancho going back to Germany. Next, Erik ten Hag probably thought he was being smart in sticking to what he knew when he signed Antony from his former club Ajax. But the £86 million Brazilian hasn't really been able to hack it in the Prem. Chances are Antony's Man United days are numbered. Next, the curse of the Man United number 7 shirt. Not an easy act following Ronaldo, Cantona, Beckham and George Best, but Memphis Depay was another striker who was apparently allergic to scoring for United. He scored just 7 in 53 appearances, a huge letdown since he'd helped PSV win the Dutch league just a season before joining. Last one, Angel Di Maria was set to be United's landmark signing when he joined in 2014, but 1 season later he was already on his way out. 4 goals in 32 games was just not good enough, given he'd broken the British record transfer fee when he signed. And those are just a few examples. To be honest, the list could go on and on. Unfortunately, that's probably why Man United haven't won the Prem for a while, and why it might take a few more years before they're in contention again.
Welcome along to the weekend sports breakfast here on talkSPORT. It's Shebahn Aherne alongside former Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning, everybody.
Today, Manchester City host relegation strugglers West Ham at the Etihad, with Pep Guardiola dismissing talk over his long-term future.
It's going to happen. Who knows that? Who knows? But even I have 10 years contract or I have 6 months contract. So football change a lot. So
fascinating though. You've got us thinking, Pep. Plenty of Premier League action on the way for you today. It's a cracker of a day in the Premier League. Newcastle take on Chelsea. That's talkSPORT's lunchtime exclusive game. Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca says his side face a tough test.
It's going to happen. Who knows that? Who knows? But even I have 10 years contract or I have 6 months contract. So football change a lot. So.
Is he your man? 03717 22 talkSPORT understands Man City could look at Maresca should Pep leave the Etihad this season. And Everton take on Arsenal in the Premier League. Mikel Arteta full of praise for the attitude of his squad heading into the Christmas period.
It's going to happen. Who knows that? Who knows? But even I have 10 years contract or I have 6 months contract. So football change a lot. So.
Mikel? That's not you. Mikel!
The players have to buy into what you say and what you do, and I feel very lucky because those players, they give you 100% in the direction that you want every single day.
There you are. I knew you were there
It's
somewhere.
Christmas.
You listen to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Good morning. Cass, how are you doing? How's your week been?
Yeah, Yeah, I had a really good week, Shebahn.
What have you been up to?
Well, obviously I watched a number of games from the 4-4 on Monday to Chelsea winning at Cardiff, and then City and Brentford. City won 2-0, Newcastle win 2-1 in the Cup to beat Fulham. Couple of Christmas parties, which was good fun.
Excuse me? What do you mean a couple of Christmas parties?
Well, I had one dinner, which was on the, what day are we? Thursday evening, which was great fun, great company, really good laugh. Everyone was just so festive. I don't know if it's me, but it feels like this year's really festive by everyone.
Yeah.
It just feels like so many people have really gone for it this Christmas.
I was saying to Amelia
feels like
in the
that.
office, like, on Monday I was going to my kids' nativity,
Yeah.
and about 3:00 in the afternoon my sister came round, and I was, instead of offering a cup of tea, I was like, shall we just open a bottle? I've been like that for what feels like weeks. I think I need January and a bit of a dry run, you know?
Well, I think there'll be a lot of people in January actually resetting, whether they decide to get to the gym or just having a month off of, I don't know. You get halfway through January and you say, should we have one? I mean, I had a couple of pints with a few friends as well. That was lovely. Catching up. I met an old colleague yesterday called Stevie Wood, who I played with in Millwall, and we met in Marylebone, or Marylebone, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, we had a few drinks, started having a chat, and he works in agency, so he's got players, and we were reminiscing and laughing, and we had a real good lunch, just chat. Catching up.
Just warning you, my sister is coming down from Glasgow today, my other sister,
Right.
and we're going to have cocktails.
That's the eldest, isn't it?
Yeah. She's just 11 months older than us, so we're all in the same.
Oh, right, okay.
we're all
Well,
in the
that's
same
it.
year.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, Mum and
You're
Dad.
nearly like triplets,
We
aren't
didn't
you?
have a TV. So she'll be down, so it's cocktails and Chinese tonight.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
that we will. So,
Well, I'm doing that Christmas Eve Chinese.
do you know, we were talking about this in the office, the amount of like Christmas rules that have changed of late.
Oh, the rules of Christmas.
The
yeah.
rules of Christmas. Some people don't do the roast anymore. They've changed the rules.
Yeah, I find the changing the meal on the day a strange one, to be honest, because that is so traditional. I mean, look, I lived in France for 6 years, and they had fish on Christmas Day. They generally, their Christmas is more Christmas Eve. They do a lot more Christmas Eve night. So yeah, it's strange, the rules. I mean, I go through them. We could obviously open this up as well with people, like, your rules of buying presents, the rules of the music, the rules of the food. You know what I mean? All them sort of things you have rules about.
What do you have a rule about? Because you've
Well-
got 7 kids. Do you spend do you spend the same amount on each?
I try to. I try to keep it within reason, because with 7, and 2 of them don't live in the UK. Well, no, 3 of them. No, actually 4. No, because I've got 2 boys who live in Paris. I've got Maeva, who lives in French Polynesia, which is Tahiti, and I've got Ted, who lives in Singapore.
Oh wow!
He works there as well. So yeah, last year we were all together. We had all 7 over, and that was really expensive. That was literally like a marriage, paying for the wedding, which was great. We had great fun. This year it's a lot less. I've been way more careful this year.
Yeah, you can let us know your Christmas rules. What is it that
The
happens?
spending limits is the one. Did you have a spending limit?
I have an amount of gifts limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the kids, because they've got everything.
What? So a number of gifts. How many they get?
Yeah. We can't go over that. Otherwise, it just gets stupid, Cass.
Yeah.
And they, to be fair, my son, when he opens his first gift, that's it. He's happy with that.
Yeah.
When my daughter opened her first gift, she's tearing through them. What's next? She could just keep going. But so we have a rule on a five gift limit, and I know that's a lot.
Yeah,
Stupid,
yeah.
but,
And well,
we can't go over that.
it's not too bad if obviously they're really small, presents. They're not a luxury.
No.
I mean, you have to be careful, because it's just like, also, if you overindulge them, that's the expectation all the time.
Exactly.
And you just can't do that. When times are tough for some people, and look, I've been very fortunate in my life. I've played football and I've worked in the media, and I've had a really nice life in lots of ways. But I always want my kids to have, the minerals in life of
the understanding.
Yeah, the understanding of value.
Yeah, you get to this time of year. Myself and Rory Jennings are going to do the.
What's happening with the music?
It's Christmas.
We haven't even started on the music. Christmas music. That's the great one. Christmas Day.
Rory Jennings brings out that from everyone. But yeah, we're going to do the Christmas run on Monday, to the kids in the hospital across the road.
Right.
I mean, you know, you just think about how much kids have sometimes at home. Your own kids, you know,
Yeah.
and you think, oh, some kids might not have that at Christmas. It's terrible. Anyway, let us know your Christmas rules this morning, 81089. What is it that goes in your house? Is
Food,
it
presents, and how much?
Yeah, how much? What's your limit? Is there a present limit? Is it, you know, a secret Santa, whatever like that? You can share that with us this morning on the Weekend Sports Breakfast. By the way, in the early hours of the morning, we saw AJ knock out Jake Paul in the 6th round. Went a little bit longer than we thought, but it was not pretty. It seemed like Jake Paul ran around for the first 3 rounds, got himself a bit wasted, and then finally AJ got the job done. We're going to hear now from Matchroom chairman Eddie Hearn, who's been speaking after the fight. He credits Jake Paul for his performance.
Good fight. Yeah. Good fight. Listen, respect to Jake. You know, he was a tough guy in there. Obviously, he moved a lot and made it difficult for AJ. And AJ's been out of the ring for a while. He's a bit rusty. It took him time to just get hold of him, but I was impressed with Jake. And listen, as I said to the geezer, at the end of the day, he took shots that a lot of people would have got knocked out, clean out by, especially at the end. You know.
Were you impressed with the geezer, Cass?
I tell you what. Whatever you say, Jake Paul is game as they can come. He honestly, and anyone who thinks that, you know, it was just one of them fights that the conspiracy theorists where nothing's going to be landed, they might get a draw. Jake Paul takes some unbelievable punches. And yes, he ran around the ring in the early rounds and is trying to avoid. It was a bit like for the older listeners, the Laurel and Hardy sketch, the boxing match, which is funny, which is Laurel running around the gym. Remember Laurel and Hardy, the old black and white stuff. But it was funny, that part of it. But Jake Paul, he took some unbelievable shots. And the punch that ended it was literally full on. And he's smiling, he's laughing afterwards. He's
Sticking
got
his
blood
tongue out.
coming
He's insane.
I'm thinking, he's game as they come. He really is. And fair play. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I thought, it's going to be an exhibition type thing where, like it was with Mike Tyson, with Jake Paul. I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't. AJ was really going after him and caught him a number of times. So fair play to Jake Paul. I never thought he could take some of the punches that he did.
Yeah, all over in the 6th round. They had 8 rounds, didn't they? Jake Paul has lost his fight to AJ. A lot of people will be happy to hear that. And by the way, it didn't look like the easiest of fights for Anthony Joshua. Made it tougher.
And he threw a couple of haymakers as well, Jake Paul, that caught AJ. But I got to say, I just couldn't believe how game he was.
Yeah, 81089. You can let us know your festive traditions this morning and the rules of Christmas in your house. Cass is making sure that everyone has the same spend on them because he's got 7 kids, 7 that we know of. I'm joking. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast. Coming up next, we'll get stuck into today's Premier League action. Morning. Good morning, welcome to the weekend breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne Tony Cascarino. It's a frantic old tune there, isn't it?
Yes.
Light of the bumblebee. But it's more like the wasp, because the wasp at Ali Pali this Christmas has just been out of control.
So, I mean, I've watched a lot of darts. So all I've heard, every time I switch it on the radio, they talk about the wasp. Is it that bad?
The guy, I think, squashed him the other day. He landed on his eye, and then the guy got him. But as they say, if you kill a wasp, all their friends come and they try and kill you. So these wasps,
yeah, they are.
Starting to think,
They can be quite feisty, can't they?
Has it been planted? Some going?
No, I think around Ali Pali, there's a lot of areas, aren't there? Green areas that you
I've not seen a wasp since late September.
No, now more than ever. You notice that.
Global warming.
Don't go down that road,
Shebahn. Said it would get us, but yeah, it's been an absolute wrecking ball, causing havoc all week. Don't know if you've been watching the darts, Cass.
Yeah, I have, yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe how long the first round matches were. It felt like it was 5 days of just first round matches. Mm-hmm. So it's like, remember they're playing afternoon and evening, and there was so many opening first round games.
Yeah.
And I think it ended yesterday. I think the first round ended, so now we're on second round today. So it's like, wow.
Yeah, 2 sessions today. Again, all the action going to be across for you on talkSPORT 2 for all of the action from the darts at the Ali.
You've seen the prize money?
So it's $1 million, right?
I know it's $1 million, but if you go down, I think first round loser is 15,000. Right. So darts has come on unbelievable. And there's anyone who gets 9 data is 60,000. It's not limited to one. It's as whoever gets 9 data, you'll get 60,000.
Who are we speaking to?
It's mad. It's doubled. It's doubled in prize money.
And I think in the near future they're going to stick another 0 on the end.
I know.
So they want it to be
get your kids into darts.
Well, this is it. It's becoming a very lucrative sport.
I know. It's amazing. I mean, because someone like Keith Deller, when he won many moons ago, I'm not sure what year it was when Keith Deller won it.
Wolves, Brentford, Man City take on West Ham, Brighton face Sunderland, Bournemouth take on Burnley. That's all 3 o'clock. Spurs, Liverpool is 5:30. Leeds Palace is 8 o'clock live on talkSPORT 2, and here on talkSPORT at 8 o'clock, Everton take on Arsenal. Quite the feast, isn't it, Cass?
Yeah, feast of football, and the early one today, obviously Newcastle taking on Chelsea, and they're only separated by 6 points. Chelsea are in 4th, and then you look at Newcastle, they're in 12th. There's only 6 points, difference at the moment, especially if Newcastle, if they did beat Chelsea, it'd only be 2 points off of Chelsea. Mm-hmm. And Eddie has had a tough, I'd say the result in midweek, beating Fulham, was a big one for him.
Yeah.
And Lewis Miley, someone who I'd spoke to a Newcastle fan 2.5, 3 years ago, and he said to me, we said, we've got this young lad, Lewis Miley. I said, I'm telling you, he's going to be a real player. I've watched him in the reserves, watched him go through the ranks when he was about 17, 16. And boy, he looks like he's stepping up. So it's a great opportunity. The irony, right? Maresca comes out last week, Shebahn, and says about the 48 hours, the worst he's ever had at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And then they play Cardiff and they turn the game around. And the Chelsea fans, it's the first time I've ever heard them sing his name. And isn't it amazing after you come out and speak about
not feeling the love
not
that you get?
feeling the love. No one really knew what he meant because he didn't. It was a bit vague, wasn't it? We didn't quite know what exactly meant. But then he gets a result against Cardiff, and the Chelsea fans sing his name. And Chelsea, look, I've said it all every time. I said the same last season. You get Chelsea on a good day, they're a really good side. Pedro Neto is a real handful. I think he's done brilliant since he's left Wolves and come to Chelsea. He's got so much pace. He's dynamic. He wants to test fullbacks all the time. Chelsea on a good day. I think it's a really good game. It's the game I'm doing the weekend for the Times. I'm doing this game.
Lovely. This is the subject of conversation as well over the last 24 hours, is that Enzo Maresca is linked to Manchester City to get the job there should Pep leave at the end of the season, which I think we discuss maybe every season here on talkSPORT. Maresca was asked about this in the press conference yesterday.
No, it doesn't affect me at all, because I know that it's 100% speculation. And in this moment, there is no time for these kind of things. First of all, because I have a contract here until 2029, probably.
No smoke without fire.
And my focus, I said many times, that is just about this club, and I'm very proud to be here. But again, it's speculation. 1 week ago was in Italy, the same with Juventus. So I don't pay attention, because I know that it's not true.
No smoke without fire, I would say. Got to be linked to something.
The fact that he said, look, he's got a contract at Chelsea, and some people might ignore that and say, well, what does that matter in football? And I understand that view, because sometimes you hear one thing and people do other. Look, the one problem is City always knew this, that they always hunted down Pep Guardiola. They always wanted him. That was the ultimate goal for that football club. And they got him. And they've been hugely successful under Pep. So anyone who's in line for taking over at Man City, it feels like a step backwards. Anyone in world football. So I think he should be where he is, Chelsea, and try to make this project. He might have challenges. I say might. I think he definitely will, because the way the football club is run, Chelsea, he doesn't get ultimate say. That's clear. But what I think he's produced a really good team under difficult circumstances. And people might go, well, hold it, what's difficult? Chelsea buy everybody. You still got to knit these players together. You've still got to gel a football team. That's his job. He's a coach. And I know they're close. They're close to having a really good side. Their midfield is great. They got a lot of tremendous players in forward areas. Reece James is a terrific player. Gusto's come on a absolute leaps and bounds. Gusto's a real good fullback now. Reece James playing in midfield gives another dynamic to his game. There's a lot of good things going on at Chelsea.
Yeah. And do you know what? We said this a couple of seasons ago when they recruited and went and bought all of these young players, that in the next few years it looks like they could win the Premier League. It's not like they're out of a title race already, but next season you look at that team and think, okay, they could really challenge.
Well, if they grow again and Chelsea get a little bit, I just don't like the idea of always going down potential road. I think potential is fantastic. It's an idea that one day these will be great players for us, playing in the first team and delivering. But I also think there's an idea you've got to go, sometimes you need to add that little, that experienced side to a team that brings success, as in, challenging for a title, maybe Champions League. And they might go, well, we won the World Club Championship. It doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people, that particular competition. It doesn't carry the weight of a Champions League or Premier League.
Yeah. Who would be that one player if they could recruit in January for you? It might bring that kind of experience to the side. Enzo spoke about it the other day, didn't he? That nobody speaks about this lack of experience when we're winning.
Yeah.
It's only when we're losing.
Any player like Marquinhos at PSG, that experience, a bit like when they got Thiago Silva. Marquinhos is a top player. He's in his early 30s, but boy, he leads them young players at PSG. That's why, for me, PSG won the Champions League. They've got Hakimi, great young players, and others, Vitinha, who's come in. But that Marquinhos player that led by example as a captain and a leader, that was one of the major reasons why they won the Champions League.
12:30 this afternoon, Newcastle take on Chelsea in the Premier League. It's live for you here on talkSPORT. John Norman is watching England at the Ashes. We're day 3 of the third test. John, what is the latest, please, sir?
Oh, well, the latest is that Ben Stokes has been dismissed. England 194 for 5. Yeah, I think the whole country was saying that. But truth be told, it was a brilliant delivery from Nathan Lyon, bowling round the wicket. He's always going to be favouring himself against a left-hander, and he's basically got it to pitch on middle, turn and go past the defensive prod of Ben Stokes and hit the top of off stump. So Stokes has to go, and that's a real shame, because entering that last hour, or this last hour of day 4 in Adelaide, and England were kind of clinging on with Harry Brook 30 not out and Zach Crawley going well in the 80s. A target of around 260 with 7 wickets in hand. Whisper it quietly, they would maybe have had a chance, but Brook going, bowled round his legs on the reverse sweep, and now Stokes playing defensively. It means Australia down to Jamie Smith, who's had a wretched series so far. He's yet to get off the mark. But Zach Crawley is there looking good, 85. So Australia need 5 wickets, England need 241 runs, England 194 for 5.
Cheers, John. We'll be back with you a little bit later on for all of the updates in the Ashes. We're in the 3rd test now into day 3. And as you can hear from John, he's not sounding too merry. Here's what's coming up for you on talkSPORT today. After us, Max Rushton and Charlie Baker are here from 9 o'clock through to 11 on the warm-up. Game day exclusive from 11. Newcastle take on Chelsea. Kick-off at 12:30. Stay with us for that. Game day live with Adrian Durham. Going around the grounds for a busy day of football.
Hi, I'm Adrian Durham. Game Day Live comes from the Etihad. Manchester City expected to go top of the table with a win against West Ham in the bottom 3, 3 points off safety, no win in 5, no clean sheet in 13. And Erling Haaland always scores against West Ham United, 9 goals in 6 games against the Hammers, who we expect to be hammered. There's a lot of Premier League action after our commentary at Newcastle Chelsea at 12:30. We'll be around the grounds, all the goals as they go in Premier League, in the EFL as well. Game Day Live on talkSPORT.
Lovely jubbly. 5:30 for the Game Day phone-in with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. We've got commentary of Everton taking on Arsenal at 8 o'clock here on talkSPORT, and then 10 o'clock it's the Sports Bar Weekender. Adam Catterall joined by former Arsenal midfielder Perry Groves to get all of the reaction from the games today in the Premier League. 03717 223344 is the number as always. Coming up next, we'll build up to today's Premier League action. Good morning.
What football ground are you thinking of when someone says this?
Really tough place to go. Difficult place to go. Such a tough place to go.
It's a tough place to go at the moment.
It was a really difficult place to go.
But what are the toughest places to go, really? We've had a look. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on the side of a cliff in the Faroe Islands in Euro 2000 qualifying. The pitch at Toftir was like a cow field, never mind those gale force winds. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time. Cue Scandi scenes. But away trips don't come tougher than playing Bolivia at altitude in La Paz. Or so we thought. The Bolivians have now taken home advantage to another level, literally 500 metres further up the Andes to the country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Meanwhile, the loudest stadium in world football officially is the Ali Sami Yen, where Galatasaray fans set a world record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead. But our most intimidating away day is in Wales. Prison team HMP Prescoed was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Oh, that's our girl Kylie here on talkSPORT Weekend Breakfast. Oh, is that Bublé? That's got to be the Boobster, isn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like him, absolutely.
Is that Bublé and Kylie?
Yeah.
We could duet that.
No, we couldn't. I can't sing for a start.
What, not even with a few old Guinnesses in you? Dutch courage?
Yeah.
Let's do it
try.
next year. Let's do it next year. Let's get you on TikTok, Cass. You'll fly. You'll fly. By the way, Zach Crawley's now been dismissed.
Yeah.
England, you're saying, might not make it out of the year.
Well, John Norman came on and said, an hour to go, and then 2 wickets have gone, Stokes and Zach Crawley afterwards. So, yeah, looking pretty grim for England at the moment.
Yeah. By the way, Christmas just around the corner now. You can let us know your Christmas rules. Cass is making sure that his kids don't get too much, but he has to spend the same amount on all of them. Mine is a limit on how many presents the kids get. You can let us know your rules. 8, 10, 8 and 9. We'll get through some of them very, very soon.
And the music and Christmas rules and dinner rules as well, because there's a lot of, families have different agendas this year.
Well, I was reading in the paper, and I've heard it mentioned, I'm sure, on the station this week, the amount of people who have changed the Christmas dinner this year. So it's now like charcuterie boards and Chinese takeaways and stuff like that. It's as if people are now going, nah, I'm not having it. I'm not doing the old.
Well, is the roast a lot more hard work? Obviously, it takes a lot of preparing.
A lot of work.
But that is what Christmas is about, isn't it? It's one big feast on a day where literally most people, because I don't eat breakfast morning, I'm having a big dinner, but I'm not going through the breakfast, dinner, then all the cheeses, and afterwards I just go, I'm having the dinner, and sort of that's the whole day where I'm feasting, and that's it.
That's another rule I've got, is that, to be fair, the kids don't eat a lot of chocolate, right, in the house. But Christmas morning, have what you want. Go for it.
Yeah.
Tuck in. I
like a mince pie.
Do you? It's
I
not
do
my,
love it.
not my
love a mince
vibe.
pie. Yeah.
No, not my vibe.
Yeah. And not many people, loads of people, you talk to them, very few people like mince pies, and yet this time of year,
They just go mad.
It's the only time they're sold.
You turn into a mince pie.
Yeah.
81089, you can let us know your festive rules. By the way, Bo Greaves just fell short of becoming the second female player to win a match at the PDC World Championship, losing in the first round to 22nd seed Daryl Gurney at Ali Pali. Good luck, Bo. For What's Around the Corner, she was sponsored by talkSPORT for this one. And also Bournemouth take on Burnley this afternoon at the Vitality Stadium. Here's our talkSPORT reporter with everything you need to know on that one. Who are you?
I'm Ian Abrahams at the Vitality Stadium for Bournemouth against Burnley. Bournemouth have done the double over Burnley the last time they met in the Premier League, although Burnley have got a good record, having won 3 of their last 4 down on the south coast against Bournemouth. Scott Minto will be alongside me for Bournemouth against Burnley.
Cheers, Moose. Fulham, by the way, in the table. They're sitting 19th, casting a terrible run of form there. It's a must-win. It's going to be hard.
For Burnley, you mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, Burnley. 19th.
Yeah, Burnley. Yeah, look, they're drifting away, aren't they? They're 6 points off of Leeds, who are in 17th. So they're sort of drifting away from them. Scotty Parker needs a big result. No one's really taken Burnley apart this year. I did a goals thing, a couple of weeks ago, and when I said, in the Championship, after 15 games, they'd conceded 6 in the Championship. And, you look at their numbers now, they've conceded literally one more game, 16, they've conceded 33. So it just tells you the difference of keeping clean sheets in the Premier League is so much tougher.
Definitely.
And a big game for Scotty Parker because, look, I always said if Burnley survive this year, it will be an amazing feat. I mean, I know they brought in experience of Dubravka in goal, Cole Walker, all valid additions to the team, but it was always going to be an uphill battle for Burnley.
Yeah, good luck to them this afternoon. Should be a good game, that one. Bournemouth against Burnley, 3 o'clock. All the updates here on GameDay Live with Adrian Dunham from the Premier League and beyond, including this game. Sunderland take on Brighton. Brighton Hove Albion host Sunderland in what will be their first ever Premier League meeting. Brighton winless in their last 3, struggling for form. After a bright November, Sunderland meanwhile sit above them in the table and will take confidence from that big victory over Newcastle last time out in the derby. Both sides, they're missing key players. Brighton are without Baleba, Dunk and Gomez, and Sunderland are severely hit by the African Cup of Nation absences. Sunderland manager Regis Labrie says this is the perfect time for the others in the squad to step up during AFCON.
Yeah, we'll have different opportunities for the players who didn't play a lot so far. We have no injuries at the minute, which is really positive, and I hope it will be the case for this period. So the team will be a bit different, but I think for the players with less game time, they knew before that this period will come. And they are ready because they train properly. They are well connected with the squad, and now we'll manage the game and we'll see.
Huge win for them, obviously, in the Derby cast. Is this a bad timing thing for them now, obviously, with AFCON and them losing a lot of players to that?
5 have gone to the AFCON from Sunderland. Yeah, it'll be a blow, but I'm sure that was in their thinking in pre-season, and all the transfer activity they did, that when it comes, we'll be prepared for it. Now you're getting opportunities. Other players are going to step in. So I think if we go back, Sunderland did an amazing recruitment in the summer.
Yeah.
The team that should have been knocked out by Coventry in the playoff semi-final, should have been knocked out by Sheffield United in the final, then rebuilt in the summer and have got to where they are in the table now. We're looking at a team that are 8th in the table.
Crazy. And
a great win over Newcastle. And you remember Newcastle battered. I remember watching the game, battered them in the cup last year away. I think it's 3-0 in the end. I remember thinking, of course, Sunderland are so far off of what, And then they beat them, obviously in the derby, the last match. So fair play, because Sunderland have got a lot right this year.
They've been so impressive. I would say maybe the most impressive of any newly promoted side to the Premier League.
Yeah, with so much change, it just shows you with the right coach who's got the idea of how he wants to play. He's gone for experience. He's gone for young lads. He's gone for unproven. People getting an opportunity to come to the Premier League the first time. He's gelled them. People like Ballard have stepped up. I think Ballard's been superb for Sunderland this year, centre-half. He's done brilliant, and others. Look, it's a real team affair. So watching them this year is like been a real joy because they've just got so much to offer. The lad Roos in goal, done brilliant. I just think they've done so well. And for them to be above Brighton, who have been the benchmark for everybody, you know, for teams that get promoted and stay up and do it in a certain way, Sunderland are outshone them at the moment.
And I feel that when you listen to talkSPORT, it quite often gets to 10 games when you can really start to make your judgments on people. In 10 games, you could start to slip there after that. But the fact that they haven't and they've maintained, they've been such a strong team. You wonder how they will do with AFCON because, like,
well, you saw the list of games about a month ago, and you said the fixtures for Sunderland.
Yeah.
You'd have gone, they're going to drop points. They're going to drop a lot of points, and they haven't. You know, when I saw them draw 2-2, and by the way, I was at the game at Chelsea where they won 2-1. Sunderland, they were terrific. Yeah. They were set up brilliantly. Then they go and take on the team that were leading the title race in Arsenal, got a 2-2 draw. You know, fair play. They are really a good side to play, to watch and to see how effective they are.
You mentioned Brighton being the benchmark for teams, and being that prime example, and Sunderland being above them. Brighton have to take advantage today. I mean, they need the 3 points, don't they?
Yeah, well, they do. And again, I think it'd be a really good game. And really do test.
Serviceman doing great things in his hometown of Plymouth. You're listening to The Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Morning. again. This is the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and Bromley's finest. Former Celtic striker Tony Cascarino is here. Some of your headlines: Caroline Dubois produced a commanding performance on her American debut, outputting Camilla Panatta, to retain her WBC lightweight title in Miami. Six-time major champion Carlos Alcaraz has split with his coach Juan Carlos Ferrero in a shock move. Shocking. That's Merry Christmas. We're splitting up. And leading on to Crystal Palace now. They take on Leeds at 8 o'clock at Elland Road. It's going to be live on talkSPORT 2. Oliver Glasner has responded to the recent rumours surrounding his captain Mark Gahey leaving in January ahead of today's game.
I think Mark will stay and plays until the end of the season. That's my understanding right now. Nobody told me something different. I know there is no offer right now. So why expecting something different?
Mark Gahey, do you expect him to stay or go? I mean, he's different. He's a different breed, Mark Gahey.
I mean, you can tell by Mark Gahey, by the way he reacts, and he's going to see it out to the summer. I don't blame him. He's done the honourable thing. I think what you can say, his level of performance is fantastic for Crystal Palace. He's not a player, and I've been to a few Palace games this year, and every time he goes to the ball goes out of play or something, all the fans are applauding him. They don't have any extra grade. They won't like it. They're losing a great player at their football club, but he's absolutely performed. He isn't someone who's just took his foot off the pedal. I've seen him so often go, do you know what, Mark Gahey's absolutely at it. He's not pulling out challenges. He's going in for headers, all sorts of things that defenders do. And think, fair play to you.
And that's the thing as well. I mean, you're right. Fans won't be happy to see the back.
No, they wouldn't. They're losing a good player. They're not going to like it.
But what they will respect and appreciate is the way he's gone about his business.
Absolutely.
What a star.
That's gone down, with them. They still have a lot of affection for him. They're not seeing a guy throwing the towel and think, I'm off and I'll get as much as I can. Look, he's within his rights. His contract's come to an end. He can move on.
Yeah. Leeds Palace, talkSPORT 2, 8 o'clock this evening. That's another great game to look forward to.
Yeah.
Today, 8 o'clock kickoff live on talkSPORT 2. Let's move on now to something a wee bit different, because there's plenty of people always talking about finding purpose after tough times, and some actually build something that changes their lives. And it's a good time of year to speak about things like this. A former serviceman, Stefan Daniel, did exactly that, rebuilding himself through Muay Thai before turning that journey into something much bigger. He's now the founder of the Warrior Within project, offering free Muay Thai training for veterans in Plymouth, helping them rebuild confidence and community after their life in the forces. Pleased to say that Stefan Daniel, the founder of the Warrior Within project, is with us now. Good morning, Stefan. How are you?
Stefan?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Well, look, great to have you on, Stefan. Tell us about it, because the Warrior Within project and this idea that you came up with, and how you've obviously helped so many people along the way.
Yeah, sure. On my own career, I did 27 years in the military and did about 7 operational tours from the age of 16 right the way up to when I was 42 when I left. And I struggled myself with coming back into community and kind of being institutionalised from the military and all the various trauma that I went through with those operational tours, and decided to go to Thailand about 10 years ago and start some Muay Thai training to see if it would help me, and it really kind of helped me change my life, really. And from there I became the head coach at Masters Academy in Plymouth, and decided that on a Sunday when the gym was free I could use it as a space to help veterans like it helped me. And it's kind of grown now to veterans and non-veterans all training together. We still supply free training. It's Muay Thai specific, but we also use cold water therapy, meditation, yoga, and kind of holistic types of therapies, as well as just the kind of action stuff.
Stefan, tell us, because we're talking about men who have, like yourself, who have served for the country, who are really tough characters. You feel like you're unbreakable, and yet I hear this quite a lot. There's lots of guys who come out of the military and then really suffer with, I mean, this goes back to America and Vietnam and, the fact of facing war, and yet you have to find like a purpose in life again.
Yeah, that's right. It's a strange one, because you are this brave kind of soldier. You're built to be that way. But when you come out, you have this nervous system that's been messed up from all the traumatic events you've been through. and it kind of makes you anxious and nervous, and you know, a former version of yourself, if you like. And you kind of, I mean, at one stage I was scared to go out the door, and I didn't know why. So I had to do a lot of work on myself to understand what was going on. And it's mostly to do with your nervous system. You're in this fight or flight constantly. It makes you feel anxious and depressed and all the other things that go along with that. But so for a veteran in particular, it's good to keep in some sort of physical exercise and also a good morning routine. So if you are a veteran, I'd say that's two things that you need to start doing as soon as you leave. Stay in a good physical morning routine and make sure you're looking after yourself and find a community of people that you can work with.
And speaking of that community then, talk to us about the people you've been training and the kind of response that you've had to this. I take it a lot of people are appreciating you at this time of year especially.
Yeah, we do 2 sessions a week, and they're both free for veterans as Tuesdays and Sundays. Down here in Plymouth, we've also got an online community at thewarriorwithin.uk. And we've just worked with my partner over in Koh Yao Noi in Thailand. We've opened a little gym there. We're more of a retreat, and we're going to start doing retreats for veterans and non-veterans out in this beautiful island in Thailand starting from next year. So yeah, it's going really, it's a lot of hard work. We've had a lot of tears, a lot of sweat along the way, but we've got such a good community now of, like I say, veterans and non-veterans all working together, and it's really great to see.
Tell us, Stefan, because Muay Thai has become quite popular. I've got a friend who I played football with called Gavin Peacock, and I'm sure you'd have heard about his son who fights, who's got a disability but has done incredible things in Muay Thai. So tell us a little bit about Muay Thai, the sport and the discipline.
Sure. Well, Muay Thai is the art of 8 limbs, so it's Thai kickboxing with elbows, and it's the national sport of Thailand. And it's probably the most effective stand-up striking martial art. I think a lot of people would agree with that. And it's a very spiritual sport as well. It's, there's a lot of spirituality linked to it in Thailand in particularly. And yeah, we love it. It's the brutality of it, but it's also the gentle side of it, I think, that's the bit that's the most engaging for people.
And I take it that's helped with your mindset as well. Are you in a good place just now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a daily process, you know. This kind of PTSD or trauma, whatever you want to call it, it's something you have to work on every day. It's not, you don't do it for 2 weeks and it goes away. It's a constant journey. So, yeah, there's good days and bad days still, but generally I'm in a pretty good position to help others, else I wouldn't do it. You know, I've got to make sure you're in a good position first.
So where can people go to? Is it thewarriorwithin.uk? Is that?
Yeah, warriorwithin.uk is our website. All the information's on there about our classes and stuff. It will always be free for veterans. There's never be
Is there an age limit on that, Stefan? As the veteran, what are you classing? Or is it, you know, over 55 or over 60? No, or you're pretty flexible? Flexible.
We got some guys come with their children. You know, we've got got the little kids come and join in. We've made a documentary recently about it all. And it's all community together, whether you're old, young, female, male, or non-binary, or whatever you are, doesn't matter with Muay Thai. It's a very humbling sport.
You seem like a very good man, Stefan. Thank you so much for coming on this morning, and good luck with this project. You're doing good things.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Take care of yourself. That's Stefan Daniel, the founder of the Warrior Within project. Warriorwithin.uk, you said?
Yeah. warriorwithin.uk.
If this affects you, then please.
It just shows you, doesn't it? You know, like we're talking about seriously tough people, you know, have had the mental capacity to do some of the things that a lot of us would be literally scared out of our life.
Yeah.
These people go and do it, and they suffer as well, by the way. Yeah. They are tough people. Let's get it right. But even they get affected, so it's incredible stuff.
Yeah, mindset is so important, isn't it?
Of course it is, because
your mind's such a strong muscle when it's out of shape. It's
we always tend to think these people, oh, they're fine, they're okay, they can deal with this, and this isn't a problem. And yet we find out quite often that that's not the case.
Yeah. Very, very tough world to be in. Fair play to Stefan. Good to hear from him there. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we're going to be joined by Arsenal superfan. His name is James Bayliss, to look ahead to Arsenal's trip to Hill Dickinson this evening.
For every good signing a club makes, there's bound to be a few that don't work out. And Man United have certainly had their fair share of those, especially since the end of their golden age under Sir Alex Ferguson. Here are just some of the Red Devils' worst signings since Fergie. First up, Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez joined United from Arsenal back in 2018 and became the highest paid player in the Prem. He'd averaged almost 1 goal every 2 games for the Gunners, but in his 45 games for Man United, he only managed 5 goals. Not what you want from a star striker. Next up, Radamel Falcao. He earned himself the nickname the Tiger for his sheer efficiency and the way he used to pounce upon the mistakes of defenders. But at Man United, he was way more pussycat than Tiger, to be honest. All he managed in 29 Man United games was 4 goals. Moving on, things couldn't have gone much worse for Jadon Sancho at Man United. Yeah, it would have been hard to outdo his Borussia Dortmund form, but 12 goals in 83 games is not great. Things got worse after a public fallout with manager Erik ten Hag. Sancho said he was being made a scapegoat. Ten Hag said there'd been a discipline issue. It all ended up with Sancho going back to Germany. Next, Erik ten Hag probably thought he was being smart in sticking to what he knew when he signed Antony from his former club Ajax. But the £86 million Brazilian hasn't really been able to hack it in the Prem. Chances are Antony's Man United days are numbered. Next, the curse of the Man United number 7 shirt. Not an easy act following Ronaldo, Cantona, Beckham and George Best, but Memphis Depay was another striker who was apparently allergic to scoring for United. He scored just 7 in 53 appearances, a huge letdown since he'd helped PSV win the Dutch league just a season before joining. Last one, Angel Di Maria was set to be United's landmark signing when he joined in 2014, but 1 season later he was already on his way out. 4 goals in 32 games was just not good enough, given he'd broken the British record transfer fee when he signed. And those are just a few examples. To be honest, the list could go on and on. Unfortunately, that's probably why Man United haven't won the Prem for a while, and why it might take a few more years before they're in contention again.
Good morning, this is the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT with me, Shebahn Aherne, and Millwall Hall of Famer, you know, Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
Coming up for you, Manchester City host relegation strugglers West Ham at the Etihad. Pep Guardiola dismissing talk over his long-term future at the club.
What's going to happen, who knows that? Who knows? But even I have 10 years contract or I have 6 months contract. So football changed a lot. So.
Yeah, but we need stories, Pep, OK? We like to speculate over your future. Plenty of Premier League action on the way for you today. Busy all day. Newcastle take on Chelsea, and talkSPORT's a lunchtime exclusive. That's at 12:30. Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca says his side face a tough test today.
They are strong, they are intense, so no matter the time, it's going to be a difficult game.
And Everton take on Arsenal in the Premier League. David Moyes says he's very pleased with how things have been shaping up at the club after a tough period.
We've probably had 4 or 5 really poor years here as a club, really, generally. So we're trying to make all that better, and look, things are better results, better performances, players are doing well.
And it's live on talkSPORT at 8 o'clock tonight. Everton hosting Arsenal in the Premier League. Over on talkSPORT 2, Leeds face Crystal Palace. A busy old day coming up from the Prem. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Good morning. Good morning. If you have just joined us, we were speaking to a lovely chap just before the news there called Stefan Daniel, who started a Mai Tai class for veterans, for those who used to serve their country, to help them learn Mai Tai and get back into the community. It's a really hard and difficult thing for them to do. We've just heard from Matt in Newcastle. He said, I left the RAF in 2010. I was lost. I struggled to navigate normal life, slipped into drinking drugs. It was only when a military friend's intervention changed things when I got support, and life's now great. It's hard transitioning. And I'm so happy you guys have highlighted this subject today. So that's really
nice. No, it was, look, I said before, these people, they go out and do great service for the country, and you know, they go through a tough time. I remember watching a documentary on the Vietnam War, and it got me. Like, look, war's obviously a horrible thing, but watching these people come back and being criticised for being at war, defending their country, and also really discarded. Yeah. Being discarded by the American public and the government at the time, and you feel like, wow. So fair play to them, you know, reinventing themselves in some way. Absolutely. And if they have to do it through sport, brilliant. Yeah. No, it's a really lovely project, this Mai Tai project that he's doing. The Warrior Within, it's called. Yeah. warriorwithin.uk if this affects you and you're interested. Let's focus on the 8 o'clock game tonight. Cass, I'm thinking Everton take on Arsenal. It's live on talkSPORT at 8 o'clock. Mikel Arteta's side go into the game top of the Premier League. A win tonight would keep them there on Christmas Day. Everton held Arsenal to 2 draws last season and have only lost one of their last 7 Premier League home matches against the Gunners. Could it be a banana skin, you say? Gunners boss Mikel Arteta says the progress the club has made since his arrival hasn't just been about him.
You need a lot of good people, very committed people around you with the same vision, the same work ethic, the same passion. And I'm very lucky because I had throughout that. And then at the end, you need a lot of support, and starting from upstairs with everybody that makes decisions alongside you. But the most important one are the players. I think the players have to buy into what you say and what you do, and I feel very lucky because those players, they give you 100% in the direction that you want every single day.
Arteta has absolutely driven change, you've got to give him that. Looking ahead to this game today, joined now by founder of the Gooniverse. Good morning to James Bayliss. Hi James.
Hi James.
Morning all, how are we doing?
Yeah, I've listened to some Arsenal supporters this week telling me how nervous and edgy they're getting. I'm saying, yeah, you've played 24 games, you've lost 2, both by the odd goal. You lost at Liverpool 1-0 and you lost at Villa 2-1. And certainly at the Villa, that game could have gone either way. And I don't quite get how much they obviously do see the progression of the club, which has been seriously big this year, you know, in what they did in the transfers plus results. There's a lot for them to be optimistic about, James.
Yeah. I mean, Arsenal fans, I think, should be optimistic about the way the season's going. the thing about those results is it felt like we left a little bit, even though it's only 2 defeats, it was 1 goal. They were late goals as well. It felt like we left a little bit out there. You know, the Anfield game, for example, Marino starting the 10 over Eze or someone seemed perhaps a little bit more attacking, someone who could have a go at Liverpool a little bit more. And then the Villa game as well, it became very end-to-end. At times we had control of the game. At times it felt like we were shipping a lot of chances. So I think there was just more frustration in the context of those games. Largely, we're having a really good season. Yeah, I mean, at one point we had a 6-point lead on City. That's not the context of today. City could go above us before we play Everton. But, I mean, did we think it was going to be easy trying to win our first title? I mean, it was always going to be tricky. There's always going to be bumps in the road. But I think Arsenal will be really proud of the work they're doing this season. Top of the table, you know, near Christmas. Let's hope we are top going into Christmas. Looking really good in the Champions League, quarterfinals of a cup competition. So I agree. I think there's lots to be optimistic about.
Yeah, I mean, look, Gabriel, if you said to me one player that you really need back into that Arsenal defence and his leadership qualities is Gabriel. There's others, but you've had, I mean, these cluster injuries in certain positions as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, there's having a lot of injuries, and then there's having, you know, 3 of your strikers out, and then 3 of your centre-backs out. Saliba, Mosquera shortly followed Gabriel, and obviously we wish them all the best. And Mosquera obviously could be 1 to 2 months. He was looking really good, came in against Bayern Munich from the cold and played really well. So it's not just the importance of the players. You're right. It's the cluster of injuries in one position. Gabriel, I have to say, I mean, he's been there from basically day one of the Arteta project. I think his first summer signing, his first significant signing, around 27 million. And so he's grown with this team, and he understands the ups, the downs they've had. And he's grown into a wonderful, wonderful footballer. And you can have all the depth you want, but injuries to key players like that are going to affect you.
Also, not to mention the injuries to key players, but who are the players in this team that you think will help win you the Premier League or who have that winning mentality? Because, say, looking at the squad, you've got Declan Rice, who won the Conference League. You've got Jesus, who won with Man City. You've got Eberechi Eze, who won a FA Cup and a Community Shield. But who are the players who have that real winning edge and experience? And is this why fans are maybe a little bit nervous, as Cass mentioned? Because the fans are nervous. Is that because maybe the team are a little bit nervous that they won't win it? Are they almost fearing that they're not going to win the Premier League this season?
Look, I think there's a lot of natural... there's tension in the fan base because it's been so many years. I think the players look quite relaxed. I think, you know, the games we haven't won, I think it's just been because maybe Villa have been brilliant, or because, you know, on the day we didn't perform brilliantly. I actually don't think they look particularly nervous. The fans might be. I mean, that's a different question. I mean, I certainly feel quite nervous as a fan because, you know, we're trying to get it done, and Man City have beaten us to it, you know, quite a few times now. In terms of the leaders, I'm actually quite glad you mentioned Eberechi Eze there, because he's not really come into his best form yet. But he's a match winner. He's the kind of person who, when the games are tight and you need a little bit of magic, he can bring that goal at Wembley that he scored for Palace against Villa, or the winner in an FA Cup final. He's got experience doing that. He's experienced with the Premier League. But then I'm looking at, Declan Rice, Saliba, Gabriel, and Bukayo Saka. And I know he's not lifted silverware with Arsenal. I mean, I suppose he was a part of the FA Cup winning squad. But I think he looks like someone who, against Wolves, where we were all playing terribly, Saka was one who shone and said, no, we're not losing this game. We're picking up 3 points and try to make something happen. So I'm looking at Bukayo too. My faith is in him. I think he can do it.
James, just briefly, David Moyes is in the paper this morning. Gunners got Rice on the cheap at 105 million. He said, I think West Ham should have got 150 for him.
We got a chant, Declan Rice, we got him half price, which in the
like
crazy...
that.
Well, yeah, in the crazy world of football transfers might be somewhat true. Yeah, he's been sensational for us, and he really comes alive in the big games as well. When we are struggling, we haven't really got a foothold in the game. He's still the kind of player who comes through, whether it be Chelsea away, whether it be Bayern Munich. We absolutely love him. And David Moyes, I think, has a real affection for him. Obviously, they won the Conference League together. So, yeah, maybe if he was going today, he'd cost even more, which is crazy to say. But to talk about a £105 million player and not feel like you overpaid, I think that's quite rare in football.
You're right.
So congrats to him.
James Bayliss, thank you so much. Good luck tonight for the game. Obviously, you'll be listening live on talkSPORT. Everton taking on Crystal Palace. That's James Bayliss from the Gooniverse podcast. Commentary of that game here with you tonight with Sam Matterface, joined by former Scotland midfielder Charlie Adam. Everton take on Arsenal. I don't know. I don't know.
Everton Could have got something against Stamford Bridge last week.
No mugs. And of course, David Moyes. This weekend, Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we're going to head out to Miami for more reaction for AJ versus Jake Paul. AJ won, everyone. Take a deep breath. It's okay.
Eve. You promised me Broadway was waiting for me.
You're handsome, queen of. Yeah, good morning. This is the Weekend Breakfast on talkSPORT. How you getting on? We're live on your smart TV. We're on your YouTube channel as well if you want to tune in and watch the action from Santa and his little helper here in the studio today. By the way, Anthony Joshua put on a show in Miami taking on Jake Paul in a much anticipated heavyweight bout, and in the end it was AJ who delivered exactly what we wanted in the end. He stopped Paul in the 6th round to get the victory. I'm just seeing pictures online just now of Jake Paul with a broken jaw. The guy's crazy. He's sticking his tongue out. There's blood everywhere. He's playing up to the cameras. He's quite the showman. Our very own showman with us this morning out there in Miami is talkSPORT's Gareth A. Davies. Good morning, Gareth.
Hi, Gareth.
Good morning, Shebahn. Good morning, Tony. A very dramatic night here.
Yeah.
Ask away.
Gareth, I've got to ask you, because obviously he'll be criticised, I think, for sort of running around the ring in the first few rounds. But, boy, I've got to say, this Jake Paul is game as anybody I've seen.
He is very, very bold and very brash and very brave. And he did extraordinarily well to take Anthony Joshua 6 rounds tonight. Yes, he ran around, he was elusive, but then he clinched, and I think he landed about 4 or 5 punches. Arguably, he might have won the first round and another round in there. So he did a brilliant job for his own resume, for his own career. And as you say, he's in hospital right now. He's posting the pictures already on Instagram. The scars of battle, the wounds of battle, the broken jaw, his teeth are rearranged a little bit. He gave it his all, but he wasn't good enough. What happened, we knew that was going to happen. The gulf in class and experience was extraordinary. And, I've just been with Anthony Joshua, and he said he was actually quite surprised about how elusive Jake was. And he just decided, you know what, I'm going to take my time here and chop the tree down gently.
Yeah. I mean, Gareth, I read your piece in the Telegraph this morning, and it was all about where boxing's going, and the subscribers are like 300 million. And boxing's got itself in a position where it just creates enormous revenue that has amazing interest.
Well, we're hearing tonight that Netflix are so impressed with Anthony Joshua. They do have 301 million subscribers. His resume will have grown. His resonance in America will have grown as a result of this. There will be people, and I put this to AJ, criticising him that Jake Paul was able to take him 6 rounds. But as Caroline Dubois told us afterwards, he'll be crying about that on his private jet on the way home with 50 million in the bank.
Well, Gareth, on that as well, there was about, and you can point this out exactly the rounds, but there was about 3 or 4 punches that Jake Paul threw that was he's actually caught Joshua there.
I did. He looked surprised at one of them, that overhand right. He tried to throw the uppercut. He landed a few decent punches, but as you can see, there's a difference between being a 13-fight novice, who's a cruiserweight, who's come up to that weight, and a proper heavyweight boxer. He didn't really put a dent in AJ. There was a little bit of shock on AJ's face from one of the punches, I'll agree with you.
Yeah. We can actually hear from AJ now, because Gareth A. Davies just caught up with him after the fight. Listen to this.
So when I was fighting Jake, I said to myself, I'm not going to knock you out. I am going to systematically punish you round after round. And I wanted it to be slow and methodical. I swear, give me a drop down now. And I just kept on hitting him. Sorry, Gary.
Right, you hit me as much.
I hit you for everyone in England. I was hitting him. I kept on hitting him. And I could see I had that mentality where I was like, do you remember in the press conference I said, he's Iverson and I'm Jordan? And I was like, I'm going to just keep breaking him down. Because he was elusive. He was moving well. But I knew after a while there would be nothing he could do and he's going to give up. But I didn't want to just knock him out. I wanted to really, just drain his soul. I really wanted to.
Gareth, are you okay, hun? He gave you a few digs there, right in the old chops.
Listen, I can take the punches of AJ anytime. It's a pleasure to take his punches after a fight like that. No, what was lovely about him, that he deliberately came over. His manager, Andy Bell, took us over to him, talkSPORT over to him. That interview went on and on and on. You can watch it on the YouTube channel very soon. It'll be played out all day. He was fulsome with us. He was honest about it. People will critique him for going 6 rounds. People will say he embarrassed himself. I kind of asked him about it. He said, no, I'm not. I needed to do better. He's with the Usyk team. They've told me he needs to improve more. He wants the Fury fight.
But with them saying he was chipping away at him, Gareth, it would have been amazing to just see a final, just a big, massive knockout just to end the fight and, put it to bed, any of this kind of, exhibition fight and YouTube fights and whatever like that.
Yeah, I mean, as Eddie Hearn told us, and that interview will go out shortly as well, that punch at the end, that right hand could have knocked out any heavyweight. It broke his jaw. It put him down. I mean, he'd been down 7-8 times from exhaustion, from holding on. So, you know, Anthony Joshua gave his all in those final rounds, but Jake Paul maybe gave even more.
Okay.
But can I say as well, though, I think we've seen this now. It's a one-off. I don't think this kind of thing should be sanctioned again. It was a huge mismatch, a massive gulf between them. He's a unique character. He's an anomaly, Jake Paul, but I don't think we should see lots of these bouts because they wouldn't be licensed anywhere else.
Yeah, I think you're right to say that, to be honest.
Gav, love your glasses.
Yeah, you look so well, Gareth. You suit life in Miami.
I do. Oh, it's lovely out here. And I'm going to go for a little swim. I had a little swim after Goldstein and Bent the other day. Can you see up there? Yeah. I'm going up to the 200 million super yacht for a party with them all in a minute.
I like that you've placed yourself.
Life's hard. Tough times.
Yeah. Gareth.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
it's Christmas time.
When it comes. Oh, look at you loving your life out there in Miami. Gareth A. Davies, will speak to you again very, very soon. Merry Christmas when it comes, buddy, okay?
Always a pleasure, legends. Cheers.
Take care. Did you see him stripped down to his bockies the other day and running at the sea?
I heard about it. Yeah. He's. I shared a car with Gareth, and we've talked about it for about 6 hours when I was living in France. He came across and we had some fun. He's a one-off, that's for sure.
Yeah, he is indeed. Coming up for you next on the Weekend Breakfast, we'll talk to former Liverpool striker Neil Mellor and build up to Spurs taking on Liverpool this afternoon.
What football ground are you thinking of when someone says this?
Really tough place to go. Difficult place to go.
Meanwhile, the loudest stadium in world football officially is the Ali Sami Yen, where Galatasaray fans set a world record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead. But our most intimidating away day is in Wales. Prison team HMP Prescoed was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
How's it going this morning? You all set for the festivities? Oh, today's going to be carnage at the shops, isn't it, Cass? Everyone running around.
So I'm not going anywhere near a shop today.
Have you done your Christmas shopping? What do you even do for Christmas shopping?
Very little.
Do you? You that guy?
No, my missus does most of it.
But what does Jo get herself?
Get herself?
Yeah, what are you going to get her?
I got her a little bag, a row bag, R-O-E. Is that
okay, posh
row
bag.
bag?
Posh bag.
Well, no, it wasn't mad. It wasn't mad. I didn't go mad. Honestly.
Go mad.
No, she loves a bag. And do you know what she's done over the years, which is really, I mean, you'd know all about this, Shebahn. She's had bags that she paid good money for that she can get more now for than...
Oh, really?
Oh, she's got about 3 or 4 she sold for more than she paid for them. But she keeps them immaculate. So they're in absolute mint condition. And then when they put them up for sale, she sold them from what, you know, if not what she paid, but sometimes more.
Nice little tip.
Yeah.
I don't mind a wee fake here and there, you know. I don't mind it. Sometimes you find really good, decent... Are you allowed to say that? Is that legal? Is it illegal? No, can we
I
talk
don't
about
know.
fakes?
Call the lawyer.
Is it? Who cares? I've got fake bags. Only I should be embarrassed by that, but I don't care. Some of your headlines this morning. Stan Wawrinka, a 3-time Grand Slam champion, has announced that 2026... Fake teeth. I've got Botox up to my ears and fake handbags. Stan Wawrinka, a 3-time Grand Slam champion, has announced that 2026 will be his final year on the tour, bringing to an end what will be a 23-year career. Fair play to him. Under fire, Wolves executive chairman Jeff Shea has stepped down from his role. The 48-year-old leaves after almost 10 years at Molineux. Speaking of Wolves, they take on Brentford at 3 o'clock. Here's our talkSPORT reporter with everything you need to know. Who are you, reporter?
This is Jeff Peters heading to Wolves, where 16 games into the league season, they're still waiting for their first win. 14 points from safety, and it's not even Christmas. Brentford are 7 points above the relegation zone. Their away form is poor. 3 points from 8 on their travels, but they'll hope to improve that today against Wolves at Molineux.
I didn't know we were at that level of just calling out my fake hair. But here we are.
There's quite a lot of things that we all have fake.
Yeah.
I mean, my teeth are...
Oh, my teeth are fake. Oh, that's what you called it, my fake teeth.
No, it's mine. I meant my teeth are. My top ones, yeah.
Shout out to my man Sachin, who did my teeth. Shout out to my gal Beck and Karen, who did my hair. Shout out to Sachin as well, who does the Botox.
You got no reason in the modern world to be, you know, looking good, really, isn't it?
You know when people...
You've got no reason. If you can obviously afford some of the, you know, you can get it done on the cheap as well.
You know when people act like they've not had anything done? I'm like, right, yeah, that just happened last night when you went to bed. Good one. Let's talk about Wolves, by the way. I mean, horrific run of form. I want to say they looked promising, didn't they, against Arsenal as well? Yeah. It felt like they were maybe going to get something from that game last week. In the end, they didn't. No,
they need some serious surgery, don't they, Wolves?
Oh.
They need everything done.
Yeah.
Teeth. Bum lift. Everything done, Wolves.
Yeah,
is it amazing that
backside
how difficult? You know, obviously like you said, the chairman stepped down after 10 years, and you think this club has just sold too many players. You know, whether it's been Ant Nouri, whether it's been Cunha, whether it's been going back to Neves and many, many others. They've just sold, and there comes a day of reckoning.
Yeah,
that day of reckoning has come this season for Wolves.
Yeah.
Because now they're picking up the pieces, sitting 2 points after 16 games, They're 14 points from safety. They haven't got a Scooby of surviving. They need Champions League form just to get out of trouble.
Wolves against Brentford is at 3 o'clock this afternoon. All the updates coming for you on GameDay Live on talkSPORT. And then Spurs take on Liverpool. That's the 5:30 game. Tottenham have lost 3 of their last 5. Pressure growing, isn't it, on Thomas Frank? Liverpool arrive unbeaten in 5 despite off-field distractions with Salah and obviously AFCON happening now as well. Ahead of the game, Arne Slot spoke about how the teams play against Liverpool and what tactics they use.
Then there's Liverpool, how teams play against us in terms of how direct they play. That's, I think, a nicer word than a long ball. That's one thing, and I think there have been certain game plans against us that I've seen more and more as well.
Arne Slot there, looking ahead to this one now. Former Liverpool striker Neil Mellor is with us. Good morning, Neil. Have you got anything fake?
I knew that was coming. Morning, Shebahn. Morning, Cap. Not yet.
Oh, big timer. Real big timer.
Neil, it was interesting because Curtis Jones did an interview, and he first and foremost he spoke about Mo Salah apologised to his team, and I felt, well, at least fair play for that, because you can move on from that sort of apology to your colleagues.
Yeah, I was there for the Brighton game last weekend, and it looked like the club, the players, Salah, everybody had moved on from what had happened previously. Obviously, there was the big fallout from what Salah had said, and he'd been disciplined by the club in terms of not going to Inter Milan. The team get a brilliant result. But then when he comes on the pitch at Brighton, you can see the players immediately want to get the ball to him because they know how important he is. The fans also reacted really well, which was great to see. The support is there. So, listen, Salah's been absolutely brilliant. Wish him well for AFCON. I think Liverpool will miss him, of course. The fact that we play Arsenal away in the time that he's at AFCON is a big blow. But it's all sorted with. And it's good to hear players like Curtis Jones, who's really matured this season again, to being a first-team regular, saying, listen, that the players are cool with him. And Ekitike said something similar, saying what a help Salah had been in terms of him settling in, and what an inspiration he'd been to a lot of the big players.
So, Neil, tell us what's happened on the pitch, in your opinion, where Liverpool have looked like they're going to concede so regularly, week in, week out.
Cass, we've just had back-to-back clean sheets.
I know, Okay, I'm talking, if you look at the goals from the start of the season, Neil, Liverpool have been shipping in goals on a regular basis, as in 2 and plus, like, a huge number of games. And it has been an issue. And yes, they've gone back to back. But is that something you feel that Slot's sort of found a solution to then in the last week or two?
Maybe not solution, but improving. I think that's fair to say. There's a bit of momentum, which has felt like it has been lacking for a long period at Liverpool. We haven't had back-to-back victories in the league since September, and that has to be sorted out. And it can be sorted out today, and all of a sudden Liverpool can go on that little bit of a run. It was a tough time, and for whatever reason, conceding too many goals was one of those factors, without a doubt. Too easy to score against at times. And I would say as well, teams were being clinical, and Brighton caused Liverpool problems last week, but didn't take those chances, whereas it felt 4 or 5 weeks ago, the opposition were taking them chances, and it was affecting Liverpool in terms of the outcome of results. So it was a good result last weekend. Brighton did have the moments, they didn't take it, but Liverpool have had a full week to prepare. Cass, it's felt like a long time. I think somebody said, is it since August? Liverpool haven't had a fresh week since. They've had so many midweek games, they've had the international break. So now they've had a full week on the training ground, try and recover a few injuries, Szoboszlai being a key one, and they can really go and have a go at Spurs tonight.
And a good week for them to have that then as well, Neil, because of course on the 27th they've got Wolves, 1st of January they've got Leeds. Such a busy period now, isn't it? I mean, and actually when you look at these fixtures, they're winnable games for Liverpool.
We said that a few times before. We said Sunderland at home, fancied that one, we drew. I thought Sunderland played very well. Leeds away, fancied that, we drew. So you're looking at fixtures and thinking Liverpool should be winning those games.
Yeah.
Haven't been this season, whereas get the result tonight, which I think Liverpool will be strong favourites, of course, to beat Spurs. Spurs are having a difficult time at the moment, and I do expect a reaction, I have to say that.
Yeah.
I'm expecting Spurs to react tonight. I think the fans will be up for it, the last game of the calendar year just before Christmas. So for me, the biggest thing, and it has been for Liverpool all season, certainly since having a difficult run, score the first goal. Yeah. When Liverpool scored the first goal, the outcome has been decent. When they haven't, it's been a lot harder. As simple as that might sound, Liverpool get the first goal tonight, I'll feel a lot more relaxed about the outcome of the game.
Neil, when in the summer they spent so much money on Isak and Ekitike, and wow, Ekitike's took the number 1 spot there, hasn't he, and done it with a lot of conviction. His work rate is extraordinary, and looks like Liverpool have signed certainly a player over the next 5 years is going to be a scarily good player for them.
Well, Cass, what do you want to do as a centre forward? Do you want to score early when you arrive at a new? He did that. Community Shield against Palace, got himself a goal. First game of the season, Bournemouth, got himself a goal. He got himself up and running. I think a disappointment and a frustration for Ekitike was he sort of got taken out of the team. Isak was saying, "You're the main man," and Ekitike went on a bit of a dip in form. One goal in 12, and you're thinking he needs to get back to it, and he did. And against Leeds, the couple of goals were brilliant. Played well against Inter. The performance against Brighton was his best performance. His work rate was there. He was running past some decent defenders easily and creating chances. He got a couple of goals. He's the main man up top. And Liverpool have needed somebody to take that responsibility off Salah for a while. Ekitike is doing that. I do believe Isak will come good. And I do believe they can both play together. We may see that tonight. We've seen it in a couple of Champions League games. But I have to say, Ekitike, goodness mate, he has been brilliant to watch. So he's in great form. And you'd fancy him to score again tonight.
Yeah, Spurs struggling at home as well. What's your prediction for this one, Neil?
Score the first goal, Shebahn. Please just score the first goal.
That's all he wants.
And then I can relax. Yes, I do expect a reaction from Spurs. They may well even score a goal. Richarlison seems to have a decent record against Liverpool. But no, Liverpool have got confidence, bit of momentum going into the game. Szoboszlai looks like he's fit, which is a massive boost. And then it's just, if he decides to go with Isak or maybe McAllister, that's the only one. I think Wirtz will play. By the way, Wirtz is a beautiful player to watch. I think he's showing his quality. So Liverpool have got the players to cause problems tonight for Spurs and maintain this bit of momentum building.
Neil, just before you go, Christmas, I bumped into you in Portugal. You got 2 girls, haven't you? They were young girls. What are they? What age are they now, Neil? Your girls?
Gosh, you won't believe it. My daughter's 19.
What?
Yeah.
What? I need your Botox.
I probably shouldn't even be saying this, but I've got this footballer sniffing round her. It's like, listen, leave it alone.
No.
I'm not happy about that at all. She's a dancer, so she's a performer. And
Did you? I thought you had 2 girls, Neil. Was it?
No, I've got a lad. Who's 16.
Was it? Oh, okay.
I
remember meeting you.
He's played local reserve football. He's a centre forward who doesn't score, but he puts himself about.
Yeah, good.
What you should say there, Cass, is that the other daughter was actually his wife, probably his partner.
I saw Neil in Portugal, and we had a chat and whatever. And I'm sure Christmas is a great time for you and your family.
Neil, who are these footballers in the DMs then? Name them and shame them.
Absolutely no chance. But yeah.
All right. So,
Neil, isn't that funny? You know, a lot of footballers like yourself and me and your daughters, you're dreading them meeting a footballer. It's like you should be like, well, they could earn, have a good life and blah blah. And yet, loads of ex-players are like, well, I'm not so sure about going to dating a footballer.
Definitely not. Hey, she's happy. She's happy at the moment. So, but yeah, so with the Mrs. Cass, and hope your family are all good. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah, and you, Neil.
Neil, great to talk to you. Thank you so much, and a very Merry Christmas when it comes. Former Liverpool striker Neil Mellor there. I can't believe he dropped that bombshell on us.
Yeah, no, I've met Neil, like I said, in Portugal and chatted to him, and he was in the same hotel. So, and I actually thought he had 2 girls, but anyway, he had to go a girl and a boy. But yeah, good time.
Yeah, he seems like a great guy, actually.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, I wonder if he's ever bought anyone in a fake. He doesn't do fake, but I wonder if he's bought anyone else a fake. Remember Jamie once bought me fake AirPods?
Fake it? But they were decent? Did they work really well?
No, they were absolutely tragic. Yeah, quickly got found out. I think they were called AirBuds or something.
You got to be careful on the fake road.
No. Usually I can spot a fake. Because I am fake. Good morning, you're listening to The Weekend Breakfast. Coming up next, we'll talk about West Ham flirting with the relegation zone this Christmas. They take on Man City this afternoon. Did you hear that, Gabs? No, I thought we were live there talking about that. Good morning. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. We're live on your smart TV. We're on the YouTube channel as well at Shebahn Aherne and Tony Cascarino. And it's time now for a bit of this.
26k for 2026 on talkSPORT.
Right, it's time for a little bit of a to me from me. Get yourself in for this wonderful Christmas giveaway here at talkSPORT. We're bringing in Christmas and New Year, giving away a massive £26,000. What a better way to start the new year, by the way, than getting 26k into your bank account. 26 grand. It's our biggest New Year cash giveaway, and it could be yours. 26k for 2026. Here's how you can enter for this one. For your chance to win, text WIN, WIN, to 83338. Texts are £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or you can call this number 0343 423 9761. That's 0343 423 9761. So the lines will close at 12 p.m. on the 9th of January next year, 2026, and you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. Don't be putting it on silent on that day. Residents only, 18 plus. This is a network promotion. Your full terms and conditions, as ever, are on our website at talksport.com. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Good luck with that. That would be great, wouldn't it? 26 grand at the beginning of January. So good luck to you. Let's look ahead to the game this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Manchester City face West Ham. at the Etihad. City flying, by the way, unbeaten in 10, and a win would see them go top before Arsenal kick off tonight against Everton away at Hill Dickinson.
Yeah, the late one.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, West Ham are struggling, winless in 5, face a tough ask against City, unbeaten in 19 meetings with the Hammers as well. Cass, they're so flirting with relegation, West Ham, but Nuno has picked it up. A number of draws in there in the last 5.
Yeah, if you take the draw at Manchester United, the 1-1, and the draw at Brighton, it was decent. Two, I would say, pretty solid performances in them 2 games. Unfortunate for them, the dramatic turnaround against Aston Villa, where Aston Villa ended up winning 3-2 at London Stadium. That was painful for Nuno. You could feel that loss, because I just feel Paquetá has to do more for me. He's a fabulously gifted footballer, but he's got to do more for West Ham. I'm seeing him do things that, when he got sent off a few weeks back and getting involved, he can be creative for them and score goals, but I just feel he's a player that's got to be the player he was 18 months ago.
That sending off was wild to watch.
I know, it was crazy. I don't know what he was thinking.
It was like he was screaming to be sent off.
Yeah. Yeah,
he needs to be
took
better.
it way too far, and I think it cost it's cost West Ham dearly. But he is, because he's a talent, and we know that he's gifted, technical, and all them things. But he's got to be a better player, and he's got to lift his work rate for West Ham when he's playing.
Do you think Nuno will get them out of that relegation zone?
I do.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, and a bit of investment in January possibly.
Yeah, look, they're 3 points behind Leeds United at the moment. And so they've got to be careful. But there's teams, if any one of that teams above them going bad form, West Ham could catch them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt about that. Should be an interesting game today. Like we say, City and great form in a minute.
It's probably the worst time to play City, isn't it, at the moment?
Flying.
Yeah.
Flying. Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough one. He's going to learn a lot about his characters within his squad today, because it's going to be a tough gig going to the Etihad and trying to get some sort of result.
As a striker yourself, talk to me about West Ham and the striker situation there in Fulcrook.
Well, they've had a history of it with people like Skamaka and Haller that came into the football club. They've bought so many centre forwards that haven't worked out. And that's a common theme at the football club. So, and obviously Antonio got a terrible injury when he was involved in a car crash last year. Yeah. So he's not there anymore. But their list of strikers that have not worked out is endless. I think he has to play Callum Wilson more if he gets the opportunity. I'm sure he'll play today. But it feels like to me today's not going to define West Ham's chances of staying up.
Of course.
They're going to have to survive a lot of pressure against City. But there's Bowen's a great player for you. You always know he's going to be committed. I think the rise of Fernandes as well at West Ham has helped, and Potts. So there's some good things happening, but they're going to have to be their best performance of the season today.
Well, let's get the thoughts of a West Ham fan and content creator. Dan Lawless from West Ham Fan TV is with us now. Good morning, Dan. How do you see this one going today?
Hi, Dan.
Hi, morning. How do I see it going? I wish I could say I see it going any other way than just a complete loss. Really, not positive, but we don't travel well there. Poor run of form. It's Man City. It's West Ham. I'm not optimistic.
Oh, come on, Dan. That's not the Christmas spirit. There must be something in there, the element of fight where you think they'll get the job done. No?
I'm a West Ham fan. The Christmas spirit's been sucked out of me. I forget it's Christmas. That's how bad it is.
God love you.
So I can't see it. I just can't see it.
No, you can't. But tell us on the bigger picture, because that, we've seen, like I said, the Brighton performance away, getting a draw, Manchester United getting a draw. Even against Villa, there was moments in the game you felt like you had a chance of nicking something out of that game as well.
There was, but we just can't seem to turn these draws into wins. And we're down in the bottom 3. And, I've been saying it to our own fans and people say, we didn't lose, we got a draw. It's like, we need points. We need to start picking up points. And after Man City, you said this game won't define our season. The next 4 games massively define us. We got Fulham, Brighton, Wolves, Forest. If we can't pick up wins there, and I mean wins, then we are down. That is the way.
Who is it you guys are sniffing around in January? I mean, who would turn the season around if you could have your choice, Dan?
I believe we're looking at a centre back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're looking at Charlie Creswell, who's playing in France at the moment, a centre back, because really our ability to defend is massively costing us in games. We cannot see games out. We can get a lead, we try and sit back on it, and we just can't get over the line. Constantly just trying to soak up pressure, and I don't think the defence is capable of it. So I think we're really looking at that centre back, and Charlie Creswell, someone we've been linked with for multiple windows now, and a striker, really, because we have Callum Wilson and that's it. Fulkrug's on his way out, so really we don't have the firepower. We're not scoring enough goals either. So I think a striker and a centre back is really going to help us. But if we like these 4 games before we're going to get a player in. So if we don't pick up wins in these 4 games, no matter who we get in, we're probably down. It's too late by then.
I've got to ask you, Dan, because you just briefly, where you've bought a number of strikers over the last 5 years, whether it's been, you've had Haller there, you've had Skamaka and others, full crew, and how can a club get so many centre forwards wrong?
It is baffling. It is absolutely baffling, and I think it comes down to, for the most part, just lack of due diligence, lack of ability to identify strikers that fit the managers, the teams that we have. We always just seem to get these players that are talented but just a fish out of water, like Fulkrug. I think Fulkrug's a good striker. He's shown it in his career, German international, but he just doesn't suit us and probably doesn't suit the Premier League. And we've just not done our homework. Spent a lot of money, and we're probably going to loan him to AC Milan. That don't help us. We've spent like 25 million on him, and it's just a big waste of money. Honestly, it is horrendous.
Oh, Dan, I hope you're not hosting Christmas dinner. Jeez Louise.
It's desperate, Dan.
Desperate, Dan.
I'm going to try and forget West Ham. Forget West Ham. That's my Christmas.
Oh, Dan Lawless there, West Ham Fan TV. Thanks so much for your time, and good luck
Cheers,
today.
thank you.
He's not feeling the vibe at all, is our Dan. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we'll look ahead to the lunchtime fixture this afternoon on talkSPORT. Newcastle take on Chelsea. Aaron Ramsdale, we'll hear from him next.
Who would have thought a sporting event's halftime show could have a bigger impact than the game itself? Well, the Super Bowl halftime show does exactly that. In 2024, Usher brought in an audience of 180 million worldwide, the biggest ever in the event's history. But how did singing and dancing get to be the centerpiece of America's biggest sporting event? The first edition of the Super Bowl was held in 1967 when the Green Bay Packers beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Los Angeles. Because of the sheer size of the event, organisers wanted to put on entertainment at halftime for the fans in the stadium. It was a display of marching bands, dancers and pure USA patriotism, and that was the theme that followed for years. In the 1980s, the Walt Disney Company got involved and we started seeing some interesting and questionable displays. But we got our first glimpse of halftime shows to come in '93 when none other than Michael Jackson stunned fans with his 15-minute medley of his own smash hits. When he walked out on stage, he had to wait for the crowd's cheers to die down for about 2 minutes before even starting his first song. Diana Ross, Gloria Estefan, Phil Collins all starred in their own shows, as did Aerosmith, who performed alongside NSYNC. Things got a little bit out of hand in 2004 when Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson produced perhaps the most famous or infamous wardrobe malfunction in history. Shows from the likes of Prince, Lady Gaga and Beyoncé are considered by critics as the best. To give you an idea of the scale of things, Rihanna's 2023 halftime show included roughly 800 people. These ranged from backing dancers to stage crew to camera operatives broadcasting to millions around the world. The whole stage for that show was built in roughly 8 minutes and was broken down and cleared away in the same time. The acts perform for free nowadays, even though the experts reckon it costs around $13 million to put on Rihanna's show. Artists know they'll rocket up the charts in the following week. Who
listening to the world's biggest sports radio station. This is talkSPORT Weekend Breakfast with me, Shebahn, and former Chelsea striker Tony Cascarino.
Good morning.
Coming up for you today, Man City host relegation strugglers West Ham at the Etihad. Pep Guardiola dismissing talk over his long-term future.
What's going to happen, who knows that? Who knows? But even I have 10 years contract or I have 6 months contract. So football changed a lot. So
we like to speculate. What can we say? Plenty of Premier League action coming up today. Newcastle take on Chelsea. That's 12:30 here on talkSPORT. Chelsea boss Enzo Maresca says his side face a very tough test.
They are strong, they are intense, so no matter the time, it's going to be a difficult game.
And in the early hours of this morning in Miami, baby, Anthony Joshua stopped Jake Paul in the 6th round and told talkSPORT he always knew he'd come out on top.
Elusive, he was moving well, but I knew after a while there would be nothing he could do and he's going to give up. But I didn't want to just knock him out. I wanted to really just drain his soul.
He absolutely did. He was gassed out by the 3rd round. AJ in great form and Jake Paul with a broken jaw. Merry Christmas, everyone. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Good morning. Charlie Parsons out of the fight in Miami is going to be with us later on in the show to talk about Jake Paul. He's in the hospital at the minute. He's posting on the Insta story. He's got to give it to him. He kind of really went for it, gave it his absolute everything, and a bit of a showman as well. He's wild.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he's game. I said it earlier. Just game as they come, and fair play to him. He took some punches, and yeah, he's going to get criticised because he's opening 3 or 4 rounds. He was literally, it was like he's running around. But he went to the floor quite a number of times as well, but not being knocked out, but more like looked like he slipped a good few times. So,
yeah,
but I tell you what, he took some punches, and the knockout punch at the end, well, that was, and there he is laughing he got all blood in his mouth, and he's laughing. He's broke his jaw.
Funny thing that. Now the chat continues with AJ Fury. We'll speak to Charlie Parsons later on about that here on talkSPORT. Coming up for you at 12:30, Newcastle take on Chelsea in the Premier League.
Starts to pop a ball across the penalty area for Willock and finished by Johan Ritter inside the 6-yard area.
They have gone a little bit soft. They have lost that edge.
Newcastle just never had enough. A little bit of a hangover from midweek.
If you don't perform and you don't get a positive result, criticism is naturally going to follow. It's part of the industry that we're in.
Charlie swings it over, flicked in! It's flicked in! And it's Lewis Miney this time!
Such small margins in football between a really good result that gives everyone a good feeling and a bad one.
Garnacho can race clear. Can he finish it off here for Chelsea? He does! He tucks it away beautifully!
Are you feeling a little more content, a little happier perhaps after earlier in the week?
I'm always been happy since day one.
I'm not unhappy with him because it's a very difficult club to manage.
Enzo Maresca, always been happy. Want to let your face know? I've always been happy.
Tell that to your face.
You sound it. Yeah. 2 teams that won.
Did you get that phrase from Jamie, your husband? Because Jamie's from Luton and my wife's from Luton. And she says tell that to your face all the time.
Oh, if he said that to me, he'd be over my knee. Who are you talking to, pal? Somebody said it to me years ago. Right. Stuck. It's good like though. 2 teams that also won their respective Carabao Cup ties during the week to reach the semi-finals. Go head to head today at 12:30 here on talkSPORT. Also 2 teams competing for places in the Champions League. We actually got some time with Newcastle goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale. He said the team are trying to find different ways to be consistent this season.
There's so many good football teams in the Premier League, and you're seeing teams as us maybe as well, trying to find the consistency, and you win a couple and then you might lose one, and the team you're losing to is sort of in and around your position. Like you said, you're only sort of 4 points or 5 points away from 4th to 14th or whatever it is. So it's not just us or a couple of other teams who are trying to find that consistency. It's everyone because of the standard of the Premier League. And the standard of Premier League, you get top games each week, and Chelsea we've obviously got tomorrow. They've had a boost obviously with Cole coming back in, and they've got some top players, and it's going to be a real exciting, energetic game at St James's at 12:30 tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely massive. 12:30 today. Newcastle take on Chelsea. Good to hear from Aaron Ramsdale. He sounds in good form as well.
Well, he's got an opportunity of late, hasn't he? Obviously, Nick Pope and Eddie has given him a chance, and he's done okay in the games. He's probably done better than okay. That's a bit unfair to him. But yeah, come in, make saves. You know, when we had Neil Mellor on earlier, and he talks about goal scorers need goals. Goalkeepers need to make saves. You know, when they first get into a club. I saw Ramsdale when he was at Sheffield United, and he struggled at first, didn't make saves. Got beaten a few times a little bit easily, and the same happened to him at Southampton. He actually done really well at Arsenal, but Southampton, I mean, look, they were shipping goals for fun, but there was a few mistakes in there as well. So again, the goalkeeper needs to make saves, the striker needs to score goals when given the chances.
He talked about the consistency and how difficult that is, obviously, in the Premier League. Are you impressed with Newcastle this season? Do you think they could have given a little bit more?
Well, on their day, they were a really good side, and they got a lot of power, energy, physicality, technical. I mean, Harvey Barnes has come in and done well. Anthony Gordon slipped off a bit, which has been a bit. Vaidemada has also not played as well for me as he did at the start of the season. Murphy's come back into the team, but there's a lot of good things. Elanga, they bought Elanga in the summer, and Elanga is capable. I mean, so quick and direct. That's when Newcastle are at their best, when they do that. Lewis Miley's a massive plus for them, Newcastle. So you see them on a good day that you feel like they can take on anybody. And then you see them on a bad day and you're like, God, Newcastle are well off it.
Yeah, you feel for them not, having Dan Burn for what looks like the next 6 weeks anyway, due to this broken rib. Eddie Howe's confirmed that he's going to be out for 6 weeks anyway. That's a huge miss. Did you hear about his appearance in a pantomime at home, Dan Burns?
No.
Oh, no, you didn't. Well, Ramsdale hadn't heard about it either. He was asked about his teammates' recent cameo in a panto.
I thought that was a wind-up. No, you mentioned it might not be. That would be something Dan Burn puts out himself. But then again, he's a honorary doctorate, I think. And it wouldn't surprise me if he goes on a pantomime. If that is the case, then obviously he might have to miss it and might have to wait for another year. But yeah, honestly, his character off the pitch and around the dressing room is a completely different person. You see on the pitch, full of life, very relaxed, very, very funny, loves winding people up. So yeah, pantomime would be a good choice for him. But as I said, it wouldn't surprise me if he's made that rumour up himself.
I'm not so sure about pantomime. All I can think is no one would know he's behind you because Dan Burn's so big, no one would be able to see the person
Blends
behind.
in with the background there. Apparently, he's been in a production of Aladdin in his hometown of Blyth and had the voice of the genie.
Right.
So he must have recorded it. I can't imagine he was there backstage. He must have pre-recorded that panto chat.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, that's quite cute though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love Dan Burn. We were talking actually in the break there when it comes to some players doing media and doing press, and they're also media trained now. You kind of don't get the real chat. But when Dan Burn had done press for England a couple of camps ago, I remember thinking he's got a bit of chat about him, and obviously with Newcastle winning the trophy and stuff, I thought, it's nice to hear from players like that who've got a bit of patter.
Yeah, and speak from the heart, as in it's not scripted. Sometimes you feel it's like the general just blah, 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 and not much more. But you see his personality sometimes, his character.
Yeah.
And that's what's so refreshing.
Huge miss, Dan Burn not being on the side for the next 6 weeks. Newcastle also play Manchester United on Boxing Day. That's the only Boxing Day league game to look forward to in the Prem. He was asked about how he feels playing on Christmas.
Yeah, frustration. Although it's the best day of the footballing calendar, it did ruin Christmas a little bit this year. It was going to be Christmas Day. You could actually sort of have a Christmas dinner and things. I'm not sure every footballer does. My sort of Christmas dinner will come on the Christmas Eve, and then have a very normal, chilled day on Christmas Day for Boxing Day. As I said, it's a hectic time. You've got plenty of years after your career to enjoy Christmas. And we also know that the travelling fans going down to Manchester United on Boxing Day are going to want to enjoy Christmas for a couple of more days as well. So we know we've got to put a shift in.
Honestly, I like that. I think that's refreshing that you said that.
Yeah.
Quite honestly there. Of course you're gutted that you're not going to be with your family then on Christmas Day, but he's got plenty of years, hopefully, of that to come.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a lot of time after your career.
A lot of footballers probably looking going this year. I got Christmas at home.
Well, I was lucky. My last 6 years of my career, I got the break at Christmas because I was in France. We got a 3-week break.
Yeah.
Well, we was allowed 1 week to go away. You couldn't do more than 1 week, so you had 7-8 days max, and then you come back and do a camp for another 5 or 6 days.
Run it all off.
Yeah, but no, you wasn't allowed. You was allowed 1 kilo. You could only put on 1 kilo in that 8 days. So if you come back and you was a kilo, you had 1 kilo to play with.
What happened if you were over?
Well, then extra training. You'd be pushed even harder, and it would be. It's tough anyway.
God, that's pure fat shaming.
Yeah, but 1 kilo was allowed.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'd be about 20.
Well, there was a concern with my manager at the time who knew I was going back to England for Christmas and knows that you'll go out and you'll celebrate because he experienced them, even though he was Romanian, he knew the carrying in the UK with Christmas parties. And
you could probably drop that kilo in a day, Cass.
Oh,
I'm sure you could do that. By the way, don't forget Newcastle against Chelsea, 12:30 this afternoon here on talkSPORT. Also this Sunday, Lagos host Chaos in the Ring, headlined by Lawrence Okoli versus Ebenezer Tete, and a stacked card featuring heavyweight stars David Adelaide and former Olympic champion Tony Yoka as well. You can watch it tomorrow with our friends on DAZN.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
Right, get your posh coffee, get the kettle on. Cappuccino with Cascarino is on the way next on talkSPORT.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. I'm taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Very good morning to you. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Millwall striker Tony Cascarino. I was just watching back. the
AJ
final punch on Jake Paul. Why did I think when I watched it at the time it wasn't as bad as it?
Oh, it's a
pretty. Now I'm like, oof.
He takes one hell of a punch on his chin.
Yeah. Broken his jaw is Jake Paul for Christmas. Good morning to you. Coming up for you at 12:30 today on talkSPORT. Newcastle take on Chelsea. 8 o'clock. Everton host Arsenal here on talkSPORT. Over on talkSPORT 2. Leeds faced at Crystal Palace. God bless you.
Oh, yes, sneeze. Like
bless you. Okay, it's time now for this.
A cappuccino with Cascarino on talkSPORT. Yummy.
Get the kettle on. I'm going to sit back and relax and enjoy his chat today.
I got a phone call in midweek from Paul Kimmage. Paul Kimmage was the author of my book, Full Time.
Okay.
And he said, I've been sent a cheque by Simon & Schuster as payment because we've got royalties. And this is where if you get music and royalties, and people wouldn't believe sometimes how much you don't get paid.
Okay.
And I agreed to go 50-50 with Paul on everything to do with the book. And we got an initial 25,000 up front, which we obviously halved each. Then we got some newspapers that chipped in with a bit extra. So we basically went half each on everything. So I said, okay, Paul, so what's the royalty check? He said, €70. So I said, oh, right, okay. He said, I'll send you the €35. And I've said, Paul, buy yourself a bottle of wine at Christmas.
That's kind.
You keep it. You keep it, Paul.
That's nice.
And then we started chatting about, it's 25 years next year since the book came out.
Right.
It's 25 years next year since I started at talkSPORT. It's 25 years next year that I started for the Times. And I've stayed with all of them at that time. So obviously, when I first spoke to Paul about doing a book, he said to me, I was in Turkey, and I said to Paul, can I have a chat? Because I'd read his book, Rough Ride, which was a great cycling book. And I said, Paul, I want to do a book. And I've read Rough Ride that you've written. I thought it was a great book. I'd love to do a book with you. And he went, why the frickin' hell would I want to do a book with you? This is his words to me. Because he was a journalist who followed the Republic of Ireland team. And I said, well, I think I've got a story to tell. And he went, okay. But he clearly had no interest. And about 3 weeks later, he said, and I was living in Nancy in France. He said, I'm getting on a plane, I'm coming over. Can you put me up for a few days? Like 5 days. I said, okay, Paul. He came over, brought his tape recorder, as it was then.
And that was that.
He stayed with me for 5 days. So I've got this journalist I know, but not that well, living with me. And we literally done tape after tape after tape. And that 5 days was daunting in many ways because I didn't realise how thorough Paul was as a person. I knew he was a great journalist, but I didn't know to what depths he'll take me because I had ideas about what I wanted to say, whether it was injuries, families, just dealing with stuff in football, the clubs I've played for, the ups and downs. And also the big hook was that I didn't qualify to play for Ireland.
Yeah.
In my mind at that time. Because obviously the documentation for my mum, I found out at that particular time my mum was adopted.
Yeah.
So I found out afterwards that I
put that out there.
Under the adoption laws, you do qualify.
Yeah.
But I was speaking as in the moment when I found out. And it's 25 years next year. So Paul wants to he said, I want to do a piece with you of some sort. And we've been offered, a lot of people have asked about doing a second book because it was really received well.
Is there anything you wish you'd said in the first book, or would you rather
I don't want to go there. Well, I say I don't. Paul doesn't really want to go there well because we were both very proud of the first book.
Yeah.
We felt we set a sort of new idea, a standard of a bit more honesty and a bit more darker side to the football.
You should do a full Mary Earps and talk about, somebody rewarding bad behaviour. Yeah. That would be bad. Just blow the whole thing up.
I just thought I'd talk a little bit about the book next year because we're coming to the end of this year and I'm going in and the experience of being involved in a book. Look, Paul was the author and he was brilliant, and we had some very difficult times over that, but we still stay really good friends today.
Good.
So it was a bit about the book and the royalties. I laugh when people say, the royalties they get. I mean, it's not like Wizard doing Wish It Could Be Christmas every day. But, you're getting €70 cheque come through the post and you're going half each with the...
I'm going to buy it next Christmas. You thank me then.
Yeah, that'd be worth about 1p, I think.
That was Cappuccino with Cascarino. It's time now to get the latest odds with Coro.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Coral, the home of a free-to-play Golden Rewards Shaker. 18 plus max one reward per player per selected Shaker Day. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Restrictions and T's and C's apply. Gambleaware.org.
Simon Clare is with us now. Simon, good morning. What a day in the Premier League to look forward to, eh?
It is indeed. I should just say I may not be speaking to you before Christmas Day, so I wish you a Merry Christmas first up.
Thank you, Simon.
Sir. Merry Christmas when it comes.
Yeah. Simon, first up, obviously the big one of the day is Newcastle taking on Chelsea at 12:30. There's lots of games, all different hours. Arsenal playing at 8 o'clock. So fill us in on the odds.
Yeah, great game to start with, isn't it? 7-4 Chelsea. 6-4 Chelsea favourites away from home at St James's Park. 7-4 Newcastle off the back of that defeat to Sunderland. 5-2 the draw. Cole Palmer, of course, back for Chelsea. He's just a 2-1 chance to score at any time today at St James's Park. And Chelsea's cemented at the moment in fourth place. So if they can get a win there, that'll send them into Christmas quite cheery. But yeah, Newcastle going to be a tough game for them, I think, after losing to Sunderland.
Yeah. Well, obviously a lot of games. Where do you want to go to next? The 3 o'clock kickoffs?
Well, look, I think in terms of the title race, at the moment it's getting very tight. 8-11 Arsenal, 13-8 Manchester City. And City are 2-9 to beat West Ham at 3 o'clock. So they could go top. Haaland just in incredible form. He's 3s on to score a goal. He's 7-4 to score 2 or more. And he's only 11-2 to get a hat-trick. So West Ham fans, Come on, I'm an Arsenal fan. Do us a favour, the Hammers somehow.
Is that the shortest odds ever, Simon?
Oh, listen,
3s on to get a goal.
I'd say it's pretty much, certainly in a Premier League match, sometimes in cup games and stuff, obviously FA Cup or something, but I think it's getting there. Do you think Cass just to score any time 3s on in a Premier League match but he just doesn't stop scoring. Every time City score, I look at the text and think it's going to be Haaland, and yes, it's Haaland. It's not Haaland, it's Foden. Yeah. But listen, Everton then play Arsenal at the 8 o'clock kickoff. And they're 4-7. But if anyone's been watching the last 2 or 3 games, they are flat. They were flat against Wolverhampton. When Chelsea went down to 10 men, they drew the game. They didn't look convincing. Look, everyone still says, it's Arsenal's title this year. They're in a little bit of a rut. And I think 4-7 looks short for me. 3-1 the draw, 5-1 Everton at home. Tough game for Arsenal today.
Yeah, I moaned earlier in the show about Arsenal fans who are more pessimistic, and you've just nailed it for me there, Simon.
Thank you. I'm glad to be predictable for you, Cass.
Racing. Where are we racing today?
Yeah, listen, racing today is at Ascot. Big day for them. Long walk hurdle, grade 1. A couple of JP McManus horses. Those familiar with racing will know the Green Silks are favourites there. 11-4 Honesty Policy, trained by Gordon Elliott, and the second favourite Impose Toi, 130 for Nicky Henderson. But strong leader Sean Bowen, Coral Ambassador, rides that popular stayer for Ollie Murphy. He's 13-2, and he's won the race before. I think he'll go well. And then for Joe Tizard, a yard we sponsor, who's in great form, Joe, top man. He's got Alexi, probably his best horse in his yard, maybe, running in the big race at 3:35. He's the second favourite at 130. I'm going to head down to Ascot, cheer on our Coral Ambassadors, Sean and Joe, and hopefully back a winner.
And have a wee festive day while you're at it as well, Simon.
I will try, Shebahn.
We love you. Merry Christmas when it comes. Take care, Simon.
You too, guys. Have a great one.
Cheers,
Simon. All the best. That was a look at the latest odds with Coral. 18 plus, be gambleaware.org. Please gamble responsibly.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Coral, the home of a free-to-play Golden Rewards Shaker. 18 plus max one reward per player per selected Shaker Day. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Restrictions and T's and C's apply. Gambleaware.org.
Coming up for you next on the Weekend Breakfast, we're heading back to Miami to get more reaction on AJ's big night out.
Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. Just hearing these names makes you think money and the hundreds of millions of dollars, pounds or Saudi riyals in boxing. But that's at the top. At the bottom, it isn't quite the same. Even for those on the rise, there's not an awful lot of cash in the boxing world. And if you're just starting out, well, it can be a very costly exercise indeed. But don't take my word for it. Here's the former European champion, talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver.
You're turning professional and you're boxing, let's say, York Hall on a non-televised fight. You have to sell tickets to earn any money, but you have to cover the wages of your opponent as well. So if you don't have the ability to be able to sell enough tickets, you effectively have to pay to fight.
A far cry then from Jake Paul facing Mike Tyson in 2024, when the purse was reported to be around £48 million. But the vast amounts of cash lining the top dog's pockets isn't the norm in a typical fight.
Let's say you're lucky and you get between 5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, you know, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight.
Driving home for Christmas.
Go on, you have some fact about this song that we've never heard of before. Did you know?
Well, there is one fact. I do know one. I know.
Of this song?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
This, I know Jason Cundy's first wife was in this video.
Shut up.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm sure Jay wouldn't mind me saying so, but she's in the video.
Huh.
Because
I'm looking through the glass. No one knew. No one knew. Morning, Jason. Just talking about your ex-wife.
I'm sure Jay wouldn't mind. Why would he? But
that is an amazing
you
fact.
asked for a fact. I wasn't planning to say that. So
well, that's really interesting. I'm going to go look up the video now. Oh, fascinating.
Well, no, I knew when I joined Chelsea, Jason was there. He was a young player. He was a young player. So this is going back moons ago. I'm going back a long time.
Yeah.
And Jason's boy, one of them, James, who used to walk here. Did you ever meet?
Yeah, James, a lovely guy. He's in Australia.
Yeah. Is that what he's messaged me? He sent me some stuff over, James. he is such a love. I don't know because he's got 2 boys, Jason. And I don't know the second one, but I've met James, and James always keeps in contact, sends me articles and programmes because he's a big Chelsea fan. He sends me a programme with like an article I did in the programme, and he's a really lovely lad.
Oh,
absolutely, they should be proud of him. Really proud of him.
In fact, last time I did see James, I'm pretty sure it was one of his last days in the office, and I took a picture of him and Jason. And I think Jason must have asked.
He's got some hair, hasn't he?
Yeah, great head of hair.
Yeah.
Doesn't get that from his dad. Right, here's what's coming up for you here on talkSPORT today. Loads on the way after us. Max Rushton and Charlie Baker bringing you the warm-up from 9 o'clock through to 11. And then it's game day exclusive commentary of Newcastle taking on Chelsea. It's a 12:30 kickoff. And then 2:30, it's Santa of talkSPORT himself, Adrian Durham, preparing for a busy day of footy.
Hi, I'm Adrian Durham. Game Day Live comes from the Etihad. Manchester City expected to go top of the table with a win against West Ham in the bottom 3 points off safety, no win in 5, no clean sheet in 13. And Erling Haaland always scores against West Ham United, 9 goals in 6 games against the Hammers, who we expect to be hammered. There's a lot of Premier League action after our commentary at Newcastle Chelsea at 12:30. Bournemouth take on Burnley at 3 o'clock. Burnley 6 points off safety, have lost their last 7 games. Brighton play Sunderland. They haven't played each other in the league for over 20 years. Wolves against Brentford is also at 3. Keith Andrews, his away form is horrible as Brentford manager. They have won 1, lost 7 away from home. So is this a chance for Wolves to get their first win of the season? We'll be around the grounds, all the goals as they go in Premier League, in the EFL as well. Game Day Live on talkSPORT.
Looking forward to it. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Jason Cundy's just text. They're always listening.
Yeah, he's a good lad. I've got a lot of time for Jason.
Has he said anything about me mugging off his hairline?
He wouldn't mind.
He's good crack. I love Jason.
I was with Graham Stewart at Chelsea, he's his buddy. Okay, he was good friends with Graham Stewart at Chelsea, who played for Everton and Chelsea. And I saw Graham. I hadn't seen him for a good few years last week. And we were chatting at Stamford Bridge in the lounge in the media lounge, and it was like being in the dressing room at Chelsea in 1992. Very funny. He was smiling the whole time, talking the stories. It was great stuff.
Love it. By the way, in the early hours of the morning, if you have just joined us, Anthony Joshua beat Jake Paul in that exhibition fight in Miami. Joshua came out victorious. He defeated Paul in the 6th round, and he told talkSPORT the fight shouldn't have lasted as long as it did.
Paul will criticise you for going 6 rounds with Jake Paul. How do you feel about that?
I deserve it.
Why? Come on.
Because, like, we're elite fighters. Like, so I put myself in the shoes of a coach. If I was coaching Anthony Joshua and he went 6 rounds with Jake Paul, I would get him back in the gym tomorrow, give him a bit of a beating, and we're getting straight back to work, because I'll be like, how are you letting this kid take you 6 rounds? Are you crazy? But I can't go back in time.
Yeah, AJ there speaking to Gareth A. Davies after the fight. Charlie Parsons from the Stomping Ground and DAZN reporter is with us now. Charlie, it wasn't an exhibition fight, but it did feel like it. Let's be honest, right?
Yeah, I'm a little bit torn, to be honest. It felt a bit bizarre to watch. Obviously, the ring, I think, was revealed earlier in the week to be 22 by 22 feet. So it was a little bit bigger. And I kind of got a bit of stick for tweeting this after the fight. But in a weird way, I respect Jake Paul. I think you did what you had to do to an extent. I know he didn't make it nice at times. He was kind of, he kept sort of falling over and holding AJ's ankle, but he made it ugly. He went in 6 rounds. If someone told me this time yesterday that Jake Paul went 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua, I think I'd have to give him credit. So, yeah, but I see where you're coming from. It was a bit of a bizarre one to watch.
Charlie, one thing's for sure, you got to say that Jake Paul is game, because he did take some punches.
And he was giving them back. I couldn't believe it.
Couple of haymakers.
He was trading in the pocket and hit AJ with a couple of jabs. I think maybe in AJ's mind, where he went out for the KO, it did look like quite early doors. He was going for that 1-punch, 2-punch combination. I just couldn't believe or visualize any kind of way in the world that Jake Paul would go in there and trade and land. He did. Credit where it's due. It is always hard to knock someone out when they're on their bike. I do think there is an element of that as well. But Jake Paul had to do what he could to take it as long as he did. He made it ugly. He went 6 rounds with AJ.
Did you, Charlie, on that, was there a part of it? Because you listened to his interview and he said afterwards he felt like he wanted to pay the price for actually, how dare you keep coming up against professional fighters, and you're going to pay tonight, and I'm going to drag it on a little bit longer, because he sort of openly admitted he wanted to keep it going.
Yeah, but I just didn't think it was as almost painful as I thought it would be for Jake. I thought if it went long, the jab would have just been stuck in his face all night. It would have been ugly. But like I said, I mean, look, the ring size did help there. It allowed Jake to get away. But even, we didn't get that 1-punch KO. I think he shattered his jaw twice and broke it. But still, he was up in the corner after the knockdown. Like, I kind of think that's a win when you're fighting AJ. Like, he wasn't unconscious on the canvas. That's the way I thought it would go.
Yeah. By the way, the atmosphere looked decent, Charlie. I mean, seemed like people were having a good time. And I think that entertainment factor does come into it, because it is Jake Paul. And even when he's got his jaw hanging off his face, he's smiling at the camera and sticking his tongue out. There's something about him that you kind of makes you want to watch.
Yeah, I mean, look, the whole thing's a freak show, isn't it? Let's be real. I don't quite understand it. I like it. I always feel, don't get me wrong, that I stay up for these fights and I'm a little bit underwhelmed. Like the Mike Tyson fight, I sort of still can't really process the whole fight. But it is a bit of a freak show. I think people like the freak show. Let's not act like this hasn't happened in the past. Okay, maybe not on Jake Paul's level, but we've seen, I don't want to call this an exhibition because it wasn't, but we've seen this kind of thing before. I think people buy into the novelty of it. He can clearly fight a little bit. Like, he's game.
I can fight too, Charlie.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not gonna
know,
take
I
on
know. I don't think we're
Taylor.
quite at the point of selling out arenas abroad, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, what's it? Words talk and numbers scream, and the numbers are extraordinary, aren't they?
Yeah.
That we're seeing that, whether it's subscriptions or just people downloading to watch the fight, it's amazing the numbers.
He brings an audience. You can't argue with that. For those looking ahead to Anthony Joshua and what's next for him, it looks like Fury is on the cards.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about Tyson Fury in the build-up, which surprised me. AJ's usually quite shy and will push back on kind of talk of other fights when he's got something coming up. I don't even think that was a matter of... I think he tried to give Jake Paul the credit and say, look, I'm only focusing on Jake Paul, but obviously Tyson came out in the week and made that video about AJ's comments, and I kind of think what AJ was saying, it's the hurt game, right? I don't think he was implying he wanted to do something dangerous to Jake Paul. But yeah, I think it's nice to see. I still feel like, and as much as you asked me there, I've sat and asked Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn in every interview I've done with them in the last 4, 5, 6 years. Until I see them both in the ring, I don't think I'll ever believe it'll happen. And as much as I would love to see it, and it's still the biggest fight that can be made in boxing, still breaks my heart that it hasn't been done 3 years ago already.
Yeah, this is it. Some people saying it's 5 years too late. Charlie, what are you doing for Christmas? That you finished up?
I am done for the year. It feels a bit anticlimactic, to be honest. I don't know. I'm starting to. You guys can tell me this, and you might laugh really, but I'm 22 now. I'm starting to realise, as an adult, does it just not feel very exciting around Christmas?
Is 22
time?
an adult? I feel like you're still a child. Take that as a positive. As a positive,
Charlie. What I'm trying to say.
You need to go and make your own festive cheer, Charlie. Okay, we've had West Ham fans sitting on the old sad chair this morning. Come on now, go and get yourself in about it.
All right, that's it. Christmas songs are
Come on!
There we are.
Charlie Parsons
Cheers,
from the Stomping Ground in DAZN. Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas when it comes.
Thanks, guys.
I mean, even Jake Paul's more up for Christmas and he's got a broken jaw. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast coming up next. Oh, England fans, you'll not be happy with the Ashes. Darren Gough is with us next.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it! Oh!
no, we don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it. Good morning. This is the weekend breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and the In-Betweeners fan. I never knew you would be, but Tony Cascarino is with you this morning.
Very funny.
Oh, hilarious.
I'm laughing because the adverts on the TV. And,
yeah, Will from the In-Betweeners is in this Christmas advert.
He feels like he's an old man now. It makes you feel really old, doesn't it?
God, some of the chat they had. Absolute gold.
Yeah.
We've probably got an In-Betweeners line-up in the office out there somewhere. We'll find them. Right, it's time now for this.
26k for 2026 on talkSPORT.
Oh, here it's a pricey time of year, isn't it? I was speaking to my friend the other day who's got her kid's birthday on Christmas Eve, then it's Christmas Day, and then it's the husband's birthday on the 1st of January. It's just a really expensive time, isn't it? Well, we could be making you that bit richer at the beginning of January. We're giving away £26,000 to start your 2026. Here's how you can win this cash. Text the word WIN to 83338. Texts are £2.50 plus your one standard network rate. Or you can call this number 0343 423 9761. That's 0343 423 9761. So the lines close at 12 o'clock on the 9th of January 2026. You'll need to answer your phone that day if it rings for your chance to win. UK residents only, 18 plus. It's a network promotion. Full terms and conditions on our website, talksport.com. £26,000 at the start of January. Yes, please. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now. And good luck to you. Right, we have to talk about the cricket. And we will.
I don't like cricket.
Come on, Cass.
Well, there'll be a lot of people who don't like cricket at the moment, by the way it's going.
Oh, I know. A tough old test. And a tough watch in the Ashes for England, posting 286 in the first innings. Australia responded with a dominant 371, stretching the lead to 356 runs by the end of day 3, leaving England just staring at a massive task if they're to keep this test and the series alive. Somebody who'll be watching from behind the sofa joins us this morning, former England fast bowler Darren Gough. Good morning, Goughy. Thanks for being with us.
Goughy.
Hi. Good morning. I mean, there's plenty of love cricket. There's 20,000 flying out of Heathrow and Gatwick and from all over the UK to watch the Melbourne and Sydney Test matches. Yeah. So they'll be hoping England can hang on. But I'll tell you what, guys, at least this has been a proper Test match, you know? We're in day 5. Can you believe we've got to day 5? Yeah. This is what Test cricket used to be about. And we are there. Tomorrow, we've just got the hard job, though, of somehow trying to bat to at least T. If we bat to at least T, we have obviously we should be winning, but very unlikely that is going to be the case.
Well, it looked a little bit of light in the tunnel, didn't it, for England? Because obviously Crawley was going well, then Ben Stokes, you think, and all them wickets tumbled quite quickly, didn't they?
That just sums up the way we play under this management team. We are a good side. I enjoy watching some of the cricket we have played. Some of the cricket we've played over the last 3 years has been absolutely outstanding. But some of the cricket we've played has been atrocious. Mm-hmm. And we get into winning positions, and we have done in this series, by the way. We have done in this series, but unfortunately, again, some of the shot selections, not great. Australia have bowled pretty well as well. Let's give them that this Test match. And when we're in a chance of getting back into the game or getting on top of the game, we find a way of messing it up. And Harry Brook dismissal, again, reverse sweeping, not ideal. And then Ben Stokes got an absolute great delivery. Let's be straight about that. That is a proper off-spinners delivery. And that's why it's important to always have your best spinner in the side.
Goffey, look, Ben Stokes as a captain, I mean, he felt like he carried the team and marshalled the team to get into a position. What are going to be the consequences in your opinion? Because look, it looks like for best money in the world wouldn't back against Australia, making it a clean sweep. What are the consequences, do you think, when England return?
Well, I think the biggest thing from speaking to other cricketers who have played the game for a long period of time is there is no accountability and no consequences for the lack of accountability that's been going on with this England team for so long. We've seen left field selections being picked purely on, well, he might not have played much county cricket, but he can bowl 84 miles an hour, so he must be able to play Test cricket. Or he smacks lots of 4s and 6s, so let's get him in and put him in the batting order. I think there is, if we carry on like we have been and Australia continue to dominate, in a series that England realistically have had their best chance for a long, long time, since 2010-11, I think there will be consequences. I don't know what they will be. But normally what happens in any sporting team, the management go, right? That'll be the first thing that happens. On the captain, my own personal view, is the captain is such a good leader, and I genuinely believe that, and he's such an iconic figure, and he's so well respected by his players. I don't think Ben could play now in a team if he wasn't captain, because his stamp's been put on that team alongside the other people behind him, and I think he's the one guy, really, as a skipper who survives. There'll be a few changes. There won't be household changes in that side. But I think now people might get rewarded for their performances in county cricket, as it has always been. We've been all this format, what we try to do is reinvent the wheel of Test cricket. It's hard. It's supposed to last 5 days. Bowlers have to bowl 20-plus overs per innings, as they've done this Test match. And when you bat, you have to get 100. If you get hundreds in your side, you have a chance of winning. Australia do that. We don't.
Well, you said, Goffey, I think last time we spoke that, you didn't think that Australia were that great of a team compared to great Australian teams before. And you would know. You played against a good few. And you've watched people like Travis Head come in and get number of runs. You've seen bowlers get a lot of wickets and others. It feels like that's probably where the criticism gets the heaviest, because a lot of people think this isn't the greatest Australian team.
Yeah, well, you heard Stuart Broad before it. I mean, it kind of making one of England's best ever cricketers look stupid, aren't they, really? Stuart Broad said it is the worst team he has seen in a long, long time. And I think what made it better for England, things have gone their way. Look at the cricketers they missed. They missed Cummins and Hazelwood in that first Test match. They've left Lyon out, which is a massive boost to England in the second Test. This Test, they're one of the best batter in the world, one of the best 3 batters in the world, pulls out with vertigo and he misses the Test match. So it's like another thing that's gone England's way. And Australia still haven't played their best team. Let's just say that in this series. I'm not saying they're a poor, one of the worst teams I've ever seen, but things have gone England's way to make it slightly easier for them to get the result in a team that's very talented. But the performances of the first 2 Test matches were horrendous. Let's be straight about this. They were horrendous. This last Test match has been a proper test, a proper battle, and it could have gone either way in areas. Australia will probably just dominate on that first innings.
Okay, Darren, well, thanks so much for coming on this morning. We will end on a positive. I said it last week. You look so well.
I don't know how, because I tell you what, last night I watched the cricket and then I watched Netflix. I watched the boxing. I've had about 2 hours kip.
Well, it looks good on you, Goffey. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Merry Christmas when it comes.
Cheers, Goffey. Bye-bye.
Take care of yourself. Darren Goff there, former England fast bowler. You've been listening to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Cass, lovely day. Enjoy your game this afternoon. You're watching
Newcastle taking on Chelsea. 12:30.
Yeah, live for you here on talkSPORT, as is Everton Arsenal at 8 o'clock and talkSPORT 2 at 8 o'clock for Leeds Palace. This is producer Baby Gabs who's selected this one to see us out the show. I'm putting you under the bus, little man. I'm doing it. Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. We're back tomorrow from 6. Max and Charlie next.